Morning world. It is Friday, February 11th. We've made it to another Friday, another end of the work week. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us this morning, man. If you could just hit that like button, subscribe to the page. So we do this every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Listen. Got a lot to get to today. Got to react to the NBA trade deadline yesterday. Craziness yesterday. Harden goes to Philly. Philly gets fleeced. And, it seems like we're set with these teams going the rest of the way. AK says we're good. We don't need to add nothing here by a trade. We're going to figure this thing out together. Don't worry. Come here with me. It's going to be fine. We're all going to get through this. It's going to be okay. So we're going to break that down. And, of course, listen. We've talked NBA trade deadline all week because that's been the pressing thing. But it's Friday. It's Friday of Super Bowl week. It is the Friday before the greatest game that is ever played every single year. It's also accompanied by a yearly party where we all go out and try our best not to get wasted. Or try your best to get wasted, however it works. However it works out for you, man. So we got a lot to get into today. We also have the crew coming through, of course. And then we've got Lucas Moore from 3 a.m. Coney. Bengals podcast coming on. He'll be on at about 8, trying to break down what his team's going to do in this Super Bowl. So we'll get into that as well. Appreciate you guys for pulling up as always, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Let's get into the show. I'm excited on a Friday, man. I'm excited on a football Friday, man, because to me, like this is the biggest game of the year, honestly, because it all comes down to one game. It all comes down to how teams play for one game. And so there's always that tension. There's always that, is it going to be a good game? Is it going to be a blowout? What's it going to be? How's the game going to go? Who you riding with? And then, like, when it's not your team, right? Then you got to ride in and pick a team. And you got to get yourself psyched up for that team like it is your team. But every time that team loses, you just be like, man, I don't care, dog. That's not my team. Stop playing with me. Y'all know it's bear down over here, baby. So it's always interesting when you're just like, I'm trying to get myself hype. I'm trying to get myself invested into this thing, man. But we got Super Bowl talk coming your way. I'm excited to be here on that. Let's get it started with this NBA deadline, though. Yesterday was a wild day. Yesterday, a lot of Bulls fans lost their mind. Yesterday was a day that I think that Chicago felt. And I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like it was a good chunk of Chicago. Like somewhat 50-50, but more so like, nah, I kind of feel this way. That felt like AK let them down yesterday. And I'm sure there were a lot of teams around the league that felt similarly. Oh, yeah, we do got to touch on that as well. Shout out to Mike Davidson adding a topic about Devon Hester not getting there. You know what? We'll start with that. Because I know Kid wants to jump in on the information. Hard turn right there. Shout out to Mike Davidson being a part of the production team right there. But it was a topic that I overlooked, and I'll tell you why I overlooked it. So this is Mike Davidson's comment. Morning, before you guys dive into basketball, which y'all know we're going to get into, can you touch on Devon Hester being snubbed from being a first ballot Hall of Famer? Y'all not going to like my response. Because here's my thing. I love Devon. Devon is the best at what he does. Devon is legitimately the best punt returner in NFL history. He made the game exciting for us. He made the game feel like You always had a shot if he was back there. And he absolutely put us in a much better field position offensively. But, and this is the part where everybody turns on me, unsubscribes. Devon Hester did not play a position well, which is why he's a special teamer. Special teams, no matter what anybody says, is absolutely not a third of the game. Most times, they're rarely involved in the game. Now, can it win you the game? Absolutely. Hey, we've lived our life off special teams for how long? I would say Chicago probably values special teams more than most. But let's keep it 100. Most of the players that are in the Hall of Fame for being special teamers also played another position really, really well. The guy whose record Devon had to break to become the greatest in Dion was also arguably the greatest DB we've seen in the NFL. So while I love Devon, I hope Devon gets into the Hall of Fame. I hope that I'll be right there. I was planning. See, this is the tough part for me. Not a little bit of selfish on my side, right? I was a little bit excited because I didn't want to be in Ohio twice this year. I definitely did not want to go to Cleveland and then be right back down there for the Hall of Fame induction. But I hope that Devon gets in. I do. But I'm not looking at it as a snub that he's not first ballot because he is a special teamer, and really that's it. As a wide receiver, Devon Hester did not help us. Now, did Jay Cutler get him the ball all the time? Did Jay Cutler look his way? Absolutely not. That also plays into the conversation. I give you props for that. But when he did look your way, there's a lot of times where you dropped the ball. He wasn't even drafted as a wide receiver. I forgot you can't get in by yourself. As we got the super producer Joel joining the conversation.
What's going on, man?
What's going on with you, my guy? How you feeling, man?
Look, man, don't even go there. Devon Hester is a Hall of Famer.
I didn't say he wasn't.
No, he's first ballot. That dude was special. Everybody else.
Here's the thing, right? If he got in first ballot, congrats to Devon. He didn't get in first ballot, it's not a snub.
They changed the rules of the game, and
they did not.
Much. Yes, they did. Once they changed the line. Yes, they did.
Why did they change the rules of the game? No. We say that. Chicago say that. Why did they change the rules of the game?
Changed because everybody's scared about guys getting hurt and hurting their heads.
Because they got sued.
No, they were getting sued. They were
because they got sued by the players, and so they said, guess what? A good chunk of these concussions come off of kickoffs where guys are doing nothing but a battle charge where they're just
right. This is Sparta. Yes.
Right.
But regardless, that man was special.
I don't disagree with you. That does not mean that he was good at a position in football. He is the greatest punt returner in Chicago Bears in the NFL history.
Hold on, let me type this up. Positions in NFL. Kick returner.
Okay.
And punt returner are positions.
But okay, here we go. I got you right here. What player did he beat? What position did the player he beat to become the greatest punt returner play?
I don't know, kickoff special teams. I mean, there's a reason they have a third phase.
No. What position was the dude before?
What are you talking about? Before him being in that position?
The dude who had the record before him, what position did he play?
Nobody paid attention to special teams. I don't know. The point is that he was that special.
It was Dion, though.
Oh, well, I mean, but Dion's amazing. My point is that in that role of being a kickoff punt returner, whether you're a cornerback, whatever position you play, he was special versus everybody else.
He was special. But he didn't. While he did, I'm not going to say Devon didn't impact the game, but we have this idea that special teams is a third of the game. It's a third of the game when you're bad at it.
It
When you're bad
helps
at
when the
special teams, it is a third of the Packers losing in the playoffs made special teams a third of the game because it's what lost them the game.
No, I mean, look, special teams, if you can have anybody that's excellent in any phase of the game, is a benefit. Chicago was more, especially that '06 team, was very strong defense, great at running, terrible quarterback play, and amazing on special teams
Yes.
because you had a short field. Now, if you just
Yeah.
had great quarterback play with the short field, it definitely does help. I mean, starting at your 30 and 40 and 50 versus always starting at a 20,
I don't disagree, but the problem is Devin Hester, for the short time where he was a wide receiver, wasn't making an impact on that part of the field.
we're not talking about him being a receiver. He was terrible as a receiver. He should
But
never
what I'm
been a receiver.
but what I'm talking about is, so we're talking about, say a team punts a lot in a game. Devin Hester touches the ball 6 times.
But he affected. The point is, dude, the guy kicked. He returned the ball in the Super Bowl on the first play. The
I
guy
don't
was special.
disrespect him. Listen. If he gets in, he gets in. I
He's
don't view it
getting
as a
in,
snub.
but he's getting in. But the point was that to act as to minimize that. Oh, it was just special teams. He wasn't great as a receiver. We know he wasn't. That's what made the Bears idiots. Why did we have to pay him as a receiver or
this
pay
is a
him as
good
a
comment
corner?
here.
What?
This is a good comment here. He says, so punters and kickers are just out of the Hall of Fame forever. Punters should never be in the Hall of Fame. First off, that's crazy talk. What are you talking about? Second off, kickers can be the highest scoring players in the NFL. So if you achieve that goal, then yes, you should be in the Hall of Fame because you scored the most points in the NFL.
But Pat, we are a special teams play away from making it out of the first round of the playoffs in 2018. You got guys like, and then as a punter, I mean Ray Guy, I think is the only punter in the Hall of Fame. But
Again,
when you stand out like that, see Devin Hester stood out. There was other guys that were they were exciting, like Joshua Cribbs, and I think there was another dude that played. He was another joystick guy on Kansas City back in the day, around the same time that Hester was playing.
yep.
But Hester stood out. He was head above everybody else.
I don't disagree with you. But what I'm talking about is impact on the game. Hall of Famers are impact on the game, right?
Yes, and he impacted the game.
He impacted the game to the point where they stopped letting him touch the ball.
Thank you, Mike Davison. Dante Hall. That was the other guy.
Dante Hall, yeah. He impacted the game to the point where they stopped letting him touch the ball.
Thank you. That's an impact player.
Yeah, but now he doesn't touch the ball.
Oh, he's retired. Well, the whole point was he was such a threat. It's just like Deion, right? We don't throw to this side of the field because Deion is going to shut
this
did. Stuff.
No, because Deion has the most interceptions in NFL history.
No, they stopped. They stopped throwing it to him. He got bored, so they said, "Hey, Deion, you can do other stuff too, like be a wide receiver."
I get you, but still impacted the game.
He did,
and still got interceptions.
Yeah, but Deion was excelling as a cornerback. The fact is that Hester impacted special teams. He moved the needle more on that side of the game. And the fact is that he did impact it because it said, should we not kick to this guy? Like he was a literal threat to not kick to him. So now we're going to basically kick the ball out of bounds, whether they start at the 20. What?
So if he doesn't, so I get you. But if he doesn't touch the ball, he can't accumulate stats. So we're talking about his impact to the game being that they didn't give you the ball.
He affected the game, whether they gave him the ball or not. That they had to make a conscious decision. Tony Dungy's thing, and even in the Super Bowl, was don't kick to him. No, you know what? No, we're going to kick to him. And then they kicked to him like, what were you doing? You kicked to him. They're up 7 points in the first 15 seconds of the game. He affected the game.
I agree with you, but he affected the game by not touching the ball.
Yeah, because they didn't want to kick it to him.
Yeah, but there's no effect. You have no other effect. While I don't want to kick it to you, you didn't touch the ball.
I don't understand what we're arguing about. I mean, the fact is that he was an amazing kick returner, punt returner.
I agree. But what I'm saying is we're talking about 6 plays a game, maybe. Now, punt return is different. Punt return is a punt return. He's the greatest punt returner I've ever seen. Kick returner, he's not even the greatest kick returner in Bears history.
Let's see. Yeah. See, Pete, thank you, Paris. No, the point is that, yes, they stopped kicking it to him from the kick returner side. And every time he got the ball as a punt returner, he was a threat.
I agree with you, but they just punted it out of bounds.
They had to punt it out of bounds because they didn't want to kick to him anymore because he was a threat.
I don't disagree with it. His kid in the chat, and he's on his way as well. He says the issue with Pat's argument is how we're minimizing special teams. There are people on special teams that never score the ball, let alone have a meaningful yardage. He did both. Facts.
Yes,
He scored. There are people on special teams that don't have meaningful yardage and all that. And guess what? They shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame either.
Let me switch over to. I'm sorry,
Mr. Hat's over here. There are people that are in the Hall, or that they're not going to get in the Hall of Fame. Well, Devon has a case because of what he did. I'm not saying Devon Hester shouldn't be in the Hall. I'm not saying I hope Devon doesn't get in the Hall, but I'm okay with him not getting in first ballot over dudes that actually impacted both sides of the ball. I'm okay with Muggs like not kicking to him is like walking a batter. Yeah,
exactly. He's a threat.
Hey, you know how many dudes lead the league in walks and aren't in the Hall of Fame?
The point is that when you're a slugger,
I got you back. I got you beat.
Dude,
I got
no,
you. That's a great.
You don't.
Nope. That's a great argument. That is a great argument because this is the thing, right? White Sox fans. We had a dude last year in Yasmani Grandal who literally was hitting 198 at one point in the season. His OBPS was like 900 because his eye was so good that he just got walks. He's slow. He didn't impact the game.
Devon Hester impacted the game.
I agree. But here's my point. You have to look at it for what it was. When they kicked to him, yes, he absolutely could impact the game. But the problem is,
let me ask you this. Did you really watch? Not that the age thing kicks in, so you were actually watching. You were there for the hysteria. Did you see the Cardinals game or the Browns game?
Saw it.
Okay, just making sure. Like the record against like 108 yards. Were you watching the games? Because
I was watching them. So here's my thing with it. Right, those are big moments. Absolutely, those are big moments in one season.
No, he had a career, but there was in one season, especially
in one season, he did the kickoff return. He did the Cardinals game. He did the Super Bowl kickoff return. He did the Cardinals game. He ran back his first kick that they ever got to him, and those are a lot of Devon's highlights.
He's got a couple years. Don't shortchange him, man.
Hey, listen, I'm not. He's the best in his position.
You're shortchanging him, man.
But how much does he impact the game?
He impacted it a lot.
How much does he impact the game? You know what I'm saying?
He impacted the game. Yes, he did.
6 plays?
No.
Let me ask you this. If the Bears have a good offense, how much does he impact the game?
If he impacted, look, they would have scored more if we had a good offense.
But if the Bears had a good offense, right? So if the Bears had a good offense, he's more of an impact to the game. The problem is the Bears didn't.
We can't help him that Grossman couldn't throw or Kyle Orton. Mainly it was Grossman that was killing everything.
We lost a lot of games, not in that season. That first season we were great, but we lost a lot of games because the offense wasn't good. So even though Devon's impact was there, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. We got to the Super Bowl. You still won the division.
Devon was a rookie.
Okay. The point is that he still affected it. Trust me, if he wasn't there, we wouldn't have got we wouldn't have got as far as we did. So
that defense was a problem.
The defense and
listen,
were a problem.
This is my thing. The Cardinals game, you went to Devon because of the great run backs. which still don't get why they kicked to him twice. They crazy.
He scored.
I said I still don't get why they kicked to him twice. The Cardinals are crazy. What I'm saying is, and kid, you're wrong. I said he impacted the game. What I'm saying is, how much of an impact is it? What I'm saying is, the defense did a lot of that legwork. By giving Devon Hester that game, you're taking away from the fact that Peanut Tillman forced what? 2 fumbles in the second half of that game? Brian Urlacher comes away with a pick?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
we know that. I'm saying that his contribution of special teams was such a high impact. He made a difference. He scored 5 touchdowns by himself in a year. I mean, as a returner.
Right.
He scored 6 touchdowns the second year.
Right.
In total, like four punts and 2 kick returns.
First 2 seasons. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
All right. 2010, he got 3.
Keep going.
And then 2011, he had 3.
Keep going.
Yeah, but the yardage was still there.
Keep going.
He scored.
Keep going.
Well, they changed the rules after what?
Keep going.
They changed the rules.
Keep going. What's the next year? No. Because that's the thing. It's a Hall of Fame career. It's not a Hall of Fame 2 seasons.
I never said it was 2 seasons.
So keep going. How much did Devon impact the game?
He still impacted the game. He had 600. Look, he had 600 punt returns, yards for 06 and 07, and then he had 200 in 08. But he had 697 kick return yards in 08. He was returning a lot. 2010, 564 to 427. He had in 2011 454 return yards to 723 kick return yards. 2012, 331 to 621. Dude, he was returning the ball a ton. And then they started using him for the I don't know if that's right, where he had 1,400 kick return yards in 2013, unless they're talking about also having him as a receiver. Dude, he was doing his thing, man. And and like Mike says, they stopped kicking it to him because he had an effect on the game. Now, if we had a quarterback,
when they stopped kicking it to him, right? So do we say the same thing about Jakeem Grant now? They kick it out of bounds every play.
He's not even a threat.
They still kick it out of bounds.
Yeah, he's not a threat.
But what I'm saying is, like, on kickoff, they still kick it through the end zone. Every play.
But what happens is people learn the threat of what a kick return, punt return, what they can do. It's a refinement process. He blew the lid off all that stuff. And they're like, yo, we got to rethink this whole process. But it doesn't matter now. The kick returns started the 25 or 35 now. You're never going to get even a good kick return anymore. So it's all punt returns, if anything.
Cordell Patterson's the best in Bears history at it.
Man, I love Cordell Patterson.
Me too.
Yeah, he was.
You know why I also love him? Because he can play another position.
He's okay. They played him out of position. He should have been more of a receiver.
Did you watch him in Atlanta this year?
I'm gonna say no, but the point is, when we have in Chicago,
I can tell. Hey, look, I can tell. Ask P Kid when P Kid get in here. Ask P Kid about Cordell Patterson, how he bolstered his fantasy team. Let me tell you.
No, I love.
This is the thing, right? I don't care if Devon gets in. I really don't. I hope Devon gets in. It's a Chicago Bear in the Hall of Fame. That's all I care about.
You're not going to minimize. You're minimizing his impact, dog. He had impact.
He had an impact for a few.
No, he definitely dominated special teams.
Listen, but y'all making I think what the thing is, like, y'all are putting special teams up here.
No.
I'm like, special teams. Listen, special teams is impactful when it's either, oh my God, amazing, or it's trash. But I'll say this: the Packers' special teams this year was trash. Aaron Rodgers still won games.
They still lost.
They lost when it mattered, right? But why? But why? Let's see. This is the thing. This is the why. How many points did the Rams score? 13. If Aaron Rodgers scores 1 touchdown, they win. Special teams was not, oh my God, crazy.
But Pat,
the offense was bad.
You can't. But the rules have changed for special teams versus then. How they played it then?
Even then.
No, because that was the last. That was
good. We'd have won more.
Yeah, but the point was that we had no chance without even the contribution of what Devin Hester had. There was no chance. The Cardinals game alone, the defense and special teams were scoring points because the offense was that bad.
So when they stopped kicking to them, how many games did we win?
I mean, dude, we have to go through that. I can't tell you how many games we won or not. The point was that
the year.
The
year he ran back 3 touchdowns. How many games we win that year?
Pat, the point is that because they didn't kick to him, it was a threat to minimize his effectiveness on the football field. That's the point.
I'll look it up. It's okay. I'll look it up. Because it's the thing. I want Devin to be in.
Yeah, but you're minimizing. It's like you're minimizing the fact of what he.
I'm not minimizing Devin.
This is not a blip. He's not a blip of like, oh yeah, well, no. This dude.
I'm not minimizing Devin. I'm just saying that if the offense is better, Devin's impact don't matter.
It does matter. Instead of them scoring barely 24 points, they probably averaging 35, 40 points. His points those touchdowns helped. When did we get Jay Cutler? Jay Cutler came in what? 2010, right? 2010. Yeah. I forget. But either way, he had an impact. I don't understand why we I'm not saying all the other guys.
Hey, listen. I'll say this. All the offensive and defensive players that's in the hall, they look at special teams like, but what else do you do?
Yeah, but he's one of the few special teamers that actually deserves to be
I'm okay with him,
there.
dog. I'm very okay. I don't care that he gets in. I hope he gets in. He's a Bear. That's all that matters to me. He's a Bear. I hope he gets into the hall. But I'm just saying I don't view it as a snub that he's not first ballot.
I don't know. Either way, I'm fine that he gets in there. I think he should have been first.
He's gonna get in there.
Actually, who made it in there? I didn't even look at this. Who made it into the Hall of Fame?
He's gonna get in there.
Let's look at this.
Let's see here. So 06, 13 and 3. 07, 7 and 9. 08, he had 3 kick returns. We were 9 and 7. Second in the NFC North to the Packers. 09 was 7 and 9. 10, 11 and 5. How many he run back that year? He said what?
Hey, that's the year we got Jay Cutler.
That's the year we got Jay.
Yeah.
That's the year we got Jay.
Quarterback play was terrible.
Yeah, 11 and 5. You lost in the conference championship.
Yeah.
You made it all the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if the offense is better, like literally we're talking about multiple years where the biggest impact we can talk about Devin Hester is they kicked the ball out of bounds.
He affected it to the point that they stopped kicking it to him. They didn't need him as much. Or they didn't want to use him.
Doesn't touch the ball.
That's still in effect.
Y'all funny. So you telling me that a wide receiver that's out there just as a decoy because he's so good is a Hall of Famer? That's an effect. Like, I never throw it to him. I never throw it to him.
No, it's not that. Now you're being crazy. The whole point is like that
I never throw it to him.
You know there's a byproduct of that. The point is that
Allen Robinson last season.
Look, Michael Irvin to the other dude on the other side. I forget his name. He gets the feast off of Irvin, right? The drippings from him. But when he leaves, he's nothing. Jerry Rice.
Yeah, well, you're also talking about an offense with Troy Aikman that was just like running really far.
Jerry Rice. Like, okay, so then when you have Chris Carter, but then they end up getting Randy Moss, they can't even stop him because now he got 2 guys that play off each other. Or even in football, we signed Adewale Ogunleye, right? He played opposite of Jason Taylor. They double team Jason Taylor all the time in Miami. And so Ogunleye is getting 10 sacks. There's a byproduct of that. Hester was good enough that when they tried to shut him down, they had to kick the ball away from him because he had an impact. So when you have impact players like those guys, that's what happens in the game.
Y'all value y'all special teams a lot.
No, we value Devin Hester.
Y'all value y'all special teams a whole lot.
No, we value Devin Hester.
I just don't look at it that way, dog. I don't look at it.
We can tell.
I don't look at it. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about they don't kick the ball to him.
Because he was a threat.
Because he was a threat. I don't disagree with that part, but they don't kick the ball to him.
Yeah, because he earned it. Because he kept burning them.
Yeah, but we're talking about impact, Hall of Fame numbers. It's not that I don't value special teams at all, but guess what? There's a lot of teams with trash special teams that won Super Bowls. Yeah, there's a lot of teams with bad special teams that made it a long way.
But Pat, imagine if we actually had a quarterback, especially in the first 3 years, that Devin Hester was there.
We also played football at a time when you could still lean on the backs of your running backs like we did and be fine.
But imagine if we actually had quarterback play and really capitalized on the talent of Devin Hester. We did all that with a bad quarterback. Then they finally get a quarterback in here, and then this dude acts like his knee hurts, and he don't want to get in the game, and then we blow it. First, that year was so ridiculous anyways. We let the Packers in instead of eliminating them in the season, and then they ended up taking us out when we could have beat them.
Shout out to Mike Davidson for the super chat. He said, look at the 2022 Hall of Fame class and tell me they're all more impactful than Devon. Now, I will say this. I have no idea who's in the Hall of Fame this year.
I'm looking
I didn't even look at
right
the list.
now. Yeah,
I didn't even look at the list. All I saw was Devin Hester didn't make it.
Yeah, let's go to this real quick. Because, I mean, you know, Jared Allen, he was a problem. Willie Anderson, kind of remember him. They got Rondé in there. Tony Baselli. Tony Baselli was a really good
Tony Baselli should have been in the Hall of Fame.
He's on, but did he really play that long? That's almost like not letting Terrell Owens in. I mean, Terrell Davis, like 6 years. But Terrell Davis was like
Terrell Davis should be in the Hall of Fame.
He was killing.
Yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame as well, though.
Let's see, Leroy Butler. He was a problem for Green Bay. I remember him.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Yeah, I don't know if y'all know y'all history, but these ones were definitely.
Hold on.
These ones were definitely more impactful.
Hold on a second. This is not. Let me pull these up. I didn't do that right.
I feel like everybody think I'm saying Devon don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
You're minimizing his effect of the game.
I'm absolutely. I'm not minimizing. I'm just
very disrespectful.
I'm saying what his effect on the game was.
Very disrespectful.
Stop looking at it through the bear down glasses. This is what his effect on the game was.
Hold on. I'm not at all. I'm just saying,
takes the Bears hat off.
I'm not. He's a problem. Yeah, Baselli, Cliff Branch. Like, see, what I don't like about guys like these guys where it takes you 40 years to get in the Hall, like, it shouldn't take you 40 years if you were that great. Like, just, you got 5 years after you retire. If you really were that great, you should be in. So I can't say, oh, yeah, Cliff Branch. Art McNally, okay, great. Sam Mills, I really felt like he was a tackling machine. Richard Seymour was really good for the Patriots, but I felt like
the problem is more so the Hall of Fame process, though. Like they'll have years where they be like, we don't like you guys, so we're gonna put in like 3 people.
Exactly, like
that's the biggest problem to me. The Hall of Fame process is dumb. The writers need to stop being in charge of that, dog.
I felt like Brian Young was a good defensive tackle. I don't know if he was like he was a good player, definitely, no doubt. But was he Warren Sapp? I don't think so.
Well,
Warren Sapp's a Hall of Fame. Thank you. There you go.
No, I get you, but it's just funny that you went like, let's be real. There's tears to this Hall of Fame thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But right, your reaction was perfect.
It's like I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. Was he Warren Sapp, one of the best to ever put on a helmet? All right.
The whole point of Hall of Fame is what? You impact the game, right?
Hey, listen, we stopped saying that a long time ago once they let a punter in. Come on, dog. You know what I'm saying? Once they let a punter in, that was the end of, it's the best players that impact the game.
Yeah.
Kid, you're minimizing his impact. If the only other guy to do what he did is a Hall of Famer, he doubled his offensive contributions then. Wrong! The only other guy that's going into the Hall of Fame that did what Devon did because of the way he did it is in the Hall of Fame as a what?
I'm looking at Mike's comment. That's my point. 57.5 career sacks, 1-time All-Pro, and 3 Pro Bowls. Like, I don't know if that's changing the game. I don't want to minimize
Hey, listen.
Brian. I'm just saying that.
I think all the old NFL you got to look through with that skewed lens, though. Because, like, I'm not going to lie to y'all. It was just like murder the dude on the other side. And that's it.
I mean, but see now, let's just say in the case of Bryant Young, where there's the whole thing of hurries, impact, whether he didn't sack the guy, but because he was a guy that gobbled up,
How many career tackles he got?
Actually, that's a good. Let's look that up.
You know what I'm saying? Like it goes into like there's more to defense than just how many All Pros, how many 3-time Pro Bowls did you make? There's a lot of dudes that didn't make games that were great because somebody felt that there was somebody better than them.
Yeah, but there's a thing when you dominate in your field, when you dominate, amongst your peers, like it does affect all those things. Let's see.
Mike Davidson. Ray Guy was Madden's punter, and he had a consistent 5-second hang time when he kicked it. We hyping up punters, and it's all right, y'all.
No,
all
we're
right,
not hyping up punters. We're hyping up one punter. He stood above the rest.
Hey, y'all, come on, dog. What are we talking about? We talking about a punter, dog? No, we talking about a punter in here to make a case for Devon Hester. Come on, dog. Devon's gonna get in. He's gonna get in. It's okay, y'all.
I'd have to compare Bryant Young to other defensive tackles, especially in this era, because at 49 tackles, 76 tackles, that's a lot. I ain't gonna lie. Especially 96, that's a lot of tackles for a defensive tackle. Definitely. But he was averaging more like 40, 50, 39, 36, 35. Because typically linebackers average about 100 tackles, right? Yeah. The really good ones will average 100 tackles a game.
76 tackles is a lot.
Out of the
That's
defense.
A lot of tackles for defense. Hey, yeah. I'm gonna tell you this right now. They weren't getting a lot of yards on him.
Well, he was defensive player of the year. I think he had about 3 awards that year.
Oh, we left that out. What? Left that out, didn't we? There, Mike Davidson.
What?
He said, "Hey, I didn't see a defensive player of the year on there. I saw 1-time Pro Bowl or 3-time Pro Bowl, 1-time All Pro. Didn't see that defensive player of the year on there." Let's not leave stuff out to make our narrative work, y'all. Let's not leave stuff out to make our narrative work. So I was yelling at Joel to keep going.
Oh yeah, he's all pro, Pro Bowl.
Joel said he had he had 7 touchdowns this season. He had 9 touchdowns this season. 1,700 yards. Wait, what? Hold on. Wait a minute. Roll it back. Hold on. No. Can't give me touchdowns the first 2 years, and then you want to give me yards.
That was impact. Those were impact.
Hey, dog, listen, I love Devon Hester. Devon, one of my favorite players. I had a Devon Hester fat head as a kid. I'm just telling y'all what special teams is. There's a lot of teams that win with bad special teams. Heck, the Packers, they didn't get to the Super Bowl. They actually blew it because of special teams. But that what was that year? Hey, fam, Buddy had to be fired for. He got to the Jet. Was that the year they lost to the Seahawks?
Who did?
When the Packers lost to the Seahawks, wasn't that the Seahawks they lost to, where Buddy didn't field the onside kick? Like it hit him in the chest and then bounced away?
I'm trying to remember. I remember was it Hasselbeck on the Seahawks against Homegrown?
No, that was versus Favre.
Okay, so you're talking about more recent. I don't remember.
No, it was versus Rodgers. I think it might have been year after they won to go back to the Super Bowl, maybe somewhere in there. But it hit Buddy in the chest. I think his name was Brandon something. Fam, it hit him in the chest and bounced away, and the Seahawks got the recovery and ended up winning the game. Dog, when I tell you that dude had to be fired before he left the field.
Yeah. Yeah. That's bad. He messed up.
Yeah. Oh man, what do you say? Zishan? I know I'm butchering your name, my boy. I'm sorry. No one is saying punters should regularly get in, but if you were really good at that position, i.e. the best, then you should get in that mug. I mean, hey, Mike Davis. Yeah. Hey, I was right. Brandon Bostic. Facts. Brandon Bostic, dog. Joe, look. Hey, dog. I'm talking about the ball hit him in the chest. And that's what it was. It was kicked. He's right. Sports guy Chicago. Jordy was supposed to get the ball. He wanted to make a play.
I have to. I don't want to be like, yeah, I remember. I feel like I do
No.
know what
He
you're
wanted
talking
to
about.
make a play. He wanted to
Yeah.
have a play
He
in
wanted
the
to do too
game.
much.
And he
Okay.
jumped Jordy to get the ball, and it bounced off his chest, and they end up losing the chance to go to the Super Bowl because the Seahawks drive down and win it. Dog. Fam, had to be cut before he got to the plane.
Yeah.
Hey, I think it was in Green Bay. They cut him the day after. Absolutely, dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you out of here, my boy.
Yeah.
You good, bro? It's like Sean with the Z in the front.
Zeshan.
Jean? Zeshan? Okay, Zeshan. Okay. No, he said if you're really good at that position, i.e. the best, then you should get in that mug.
You're now rocking with the best.
He's gonna get in. They can't keep him out. He's a great punt. He's the best punt returner there ever was, and he was a great kickoff returner.
Oh yeah.
But if the offense was better, he just makes our offense that much better. The problem was
we go
the
from
offense
barely
wasn't
averaging.
better.
We go from 20 some points to at least 30, 35.
Yeah, we're dominating teams. Special teams is like a seasoning. It can make it either good or bad.
It's a cherry on top.
Yeah, it's the cherry on top. But let's not say it's the meal.
No one ever said that.
It's literally the
but you say that, but then like you look at Buffalo. Buffalo has 4 Super Bowl losses, and 2 of them were special teams blunders. They missed the kick. All of that stuff does matter.
True.
I mean, but we have the double doink here because first of all, boy hit the first one. He hit the first free. They called the timeout. He redoes it. Special teams does count.
Don't go opening up old wounds. Don't be that guy. Second off, we got Justin Fields. Now don't worry about it. Here's the thing. That's not really a Band-Aid either. That's the tough part. Here's the thing. Yes, we lose that game on the double doink. If Mitch plays better, we don't lose that game because he's not put in that position.
I agree. If Mitch played better, we wouldn't even have needed it. But the point was, when you do need it,
but
Tom Brady has Super Bowls based off of special teams. He gets so much credit of dinking, dunk, dink, dunk, dink, dunk, dink, and then old boy kicks the ball. Oh my God, Tom Brady's the greatest. He didn't score the touchdown. He couldn't score the touchdown. But we're gonna stop right here and kick the field goal.
Absolutely.
Special teams does matter.
It's a nice, like you said, it's a cherry on top. But in games where your offense is clicking and doing what it's supposed to do, it don't matter.
Yeah, but then it had more impact than it does now.
Even then,
they changed the rules.
Even then, if we score touchdowns, listen, if we score touchdowns on offense, it don't matter.
Thank you, Mike Davidson. A freaking referee.
Should a referee get? No, I didn't know. Who was that?
Yeah, it was a contributor. Like,
okay, never mind then. All right, he should have been first ballot if that's the case. I didn't know that. Now hold on. I told y'all I didn't look at the list. I'm not even gonna cap with you. I thought he gave me everybody on the list.
He was a director of officiating, consultant, and assistant supervisor officials. Why do we care?
Yeah, no, okay.
Put them over there. That's for the owners people to look at. We don't care about that.
Yeah, no.
This is fandom.
He should get in. He shouldn't stop Devon from getting in.
Here.
If a referee got in, see, I didn't know that part. If a referee got in over Devon, then Devon should be first ballot. He shouldn't stop Devon from getting in. Stop the if game. There are whole Super Bowls and divisional games won off of special teams. That's not a cherry on top. Literally part of the game and very important. Cap. Cap.
That was aggressive.
Hey, it's okay. He can yell as loud as he wants. He's wrong.
He's not wrong. There's a reason they have them there. They're part of the game for a reason.
Fam, they literally talk about every year, should we take the kickoff out of the game? What are y'all talking about? They literally talk about every year. Should we just start players at the 20? That's how much of an impact of the game it is. very important part of the game. Kid was the dude that was arguing that the special teams in the Green Bay game is what makes the difference. No, the fact that Aaron Rodgers sucked in the Green Bay game is what makes the difference.
Yeah, but when you need to call on them, can they be there? There's a reason they are there.
Yeah.
So if you can use them as an advantage to figure out the game and win, then great. But if you can't, if they're not good that year, or they don't have you're not confident in your special teams, then fine. I mean, for example, Peyton Manning, they didn't even punt the ball because he was that good for a year.
Hey, Big Man, it's not wrong. You just doubled down on a dumb take. Hey, dog, I'm just telling you how most players feel about special teams. You win the games on offense and defense, dog. It is what it is.
No, you can win in special teams too. You can't say that. A lot of games are won and decided by a kick.
I don't disagree with that.
Well,
but
you just said that you just minimize it though.
Yeah, I do. What I'm saying is that you can win a game with a kick, but guess when that kick's not mattered?
We lost part of the game.
I didn't say it's not part of the game, but it's definitely not a 50% part of the game. Or what did they say it? What is it supposed to be? 33, 33, 33? It's a third of the game.
So the Bengals are in the Super Bowl because of what?
Because of the kicker on that last play.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh.
Hey, did Joe Burrow have to score touchdowns to get there?
They didn't do that many. He didn't do that many.
Patrick Mahomes doesn't beat Josh Allen, without special teams. So all the touchdowns Pat Mahomes threw, they got nothing to do with the game.
It's part of the Jesus Christ.
Lord, I ain't saying it's not part of the game.
Help this man. It's part of the game.
Who said it's not?
You just you're minimizing it to the
How
point.
How much percentage would you put on special teams as part
look,
of the game?
I would say, offense and defense definitely get it's more of a 70% of the game, and then the 30% is for special teams.
70%.
So 35, 35, 30. There you go. Or what you want to do? Yeah, there's a kickoff return. If you don't protect the ball for kickoffs, right? If you can't punt and kick at all, and then you got returns. You guys, your average starting. He did affect the game for Hester, where the average their field position, they started a lot further than most folks did for the years. I think it was I don't know, they averaged a 25 or 30 yard versus starting at the 20 or the 19 or whatever they would do.
Hey, let me ask y'all this. Who put special teamers, all these ones that got them into the Super Bowl?
Wait a minute. First of all, why am I here arguing? Oh, you got me arguing about special teams for dang near 40-something minutes.
Hey, listen, that's the debate y'all wanted to have.
No. You're holding on to something where it's dude, Hester deserved to be in there.
Well, no, if it's over a referee, I never said he didn't deserve to be in there. Brady doesn't beat the Rams without his kicker. Who puts the kicker in a position to be able to get that kick?
Everybody. The running game, the quarterback, the defense. Oh. It depends.
Third of the game, huh?
If they don't kick, I don't know why we're arguing this.
I don't know. Mike Davidson, Pat sees running backs equal special teams. No, running backs worth more than special teams for sure.
Good players, good scheme means more than anything. A good running game, return game, quarterback, whatever. They all have to do their job. And
hey, listen, if they don't, I'm not saying it's not a team game. I'm not saying that special teams is not needed, although they try to take it out of the game every single year. What I'm saying is that more of it leans on the offense to put kickers in positions to be in their range to make kicks. More of it leans on the defense to stop the other team than it does the kick return.
But if they're on the field, they have to perform and do their job. And if we need you to do your job. So if you don't kick, if you do bobble the return because you messed up, that happened What didn't that just happen against Buffalo and
What?
Kansas City? Weren't they somebody muffed a punt? Or they were turning the ball over back and forth? No, not in special teams, but there was a lot of back and forth. But
Yeah,
either
there was a lot
way,
of back and forth, but it wasn't special teams.
there was some game. Regardless, we've seen situations where guys will muff a punt, not protect the ball, the special teams, and then they end up giving a short field to somebody else, and now they're scoring touchdowns right there on the 2-yard line or the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
If you're on the field, it does matter. If you don't have guys capable to do their job, special teams does matter when they're on the field because we need you to do your role. Now, whether do I want to see more offense? Of course.
Kid
Do I
is
want to have a
hilarious.
good style
Kid
defense?
is really going hard on this special teams matters argument. Hey,
Because you keep holding on to this whole thing like they don't matter. It's like they do matter.
I didn't say they don't matter. But guess what? I'd rather have a good offense than a great special teams.
Anybody would. But if you have, the point is that I want all my phases to be good. I want a good defense. I want a good running game. I want a great offense. I want a good special teams as well. That's a good one.
Special teams is so important. It made up nearly 45% of all the points that the Bears scored. Yeah, that's a fact. You know why? Because our offense sucked.
Yes, but if we had an offense, nobody's saying we want special teams.
Hey, if we had an offense, that point wouldn't be true.
I think it still would be true. Or, okay, no. I'll give you that. Because if you're not leaning on them so much because offense is so bad, but the point was that Devon Hester was still a special talent, especially for those first 3 years.
Hey, listen, he deserved to get in over a referee.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, kid, don't risk the gig, dog. He said, I'm actually working.
Don't drop the bag,
this take was so bad, I risk my gig for this. Hey, listen, it is what it is, dog.
And Mike
It's not a bad take. I tell you this. I hear NFL players say it on all these radio shows all the time. You know how many people were railing against Devon Hester getting in that weren't in Chicago? There were people in Chicago that were railing against Devon Hester getting in, to the point where Muzz was just like, hey, listen, I don't even care anymore.
Whatever. He deserves to go in. I think it's all interesting how the guys vote and who put their feelings and stuff. I mean,
well, I don't think it should be on reporters at all. But I look at what the players say, how the players talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like the players that talk about Devon Hester getting in are also people that return the ball.
Well, I mean, the thing is that that's not an easy thing that he did.
No. I don't discredit it. But what I'm saying is a lot of the players are like, yeah, but I did that. And so Devon should get in because he's the best at that. But also, I was great at this. Or I was great at this. Or I impacted the ball on defense. I impacted the game in this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, dog. I don't look at special teams. You can win with bad special teams.
Yeah, you can win with.
You win better if you have good special teams. My point is, if our offenses were better, if our team was better, and that team, like, listen, you say what you want about, oh my goodness, we made it to the Super Bowl. That offense was atrocious minus Thomas Jones and the line. That offense was atrocious.
Yeah, no quarterback play. Strong running game.
We literally made it to and you know what the wild part is? Like, you would think it's like Mitch. Where like there's an argument of like he was getting sacked all the time. It was like, nah, Rex Grossman was just,
he was bad. God. No. They figured him out. He was
NFC. Nah, ain't no figured him out. That man, I watched that man legitimately take the snap. Go watch the Cardinals game again. I've watched it many times. There's a snap. He takes the snap. It's one of his interceptions. You know how you drop back? Takes the snap, runs straight backwards. Not even looking at the offense. Offense is over here. He's looking this way. Runs straight backwards. Turns around, puts it up off the back foot. That's just bad.
He was NFC Player of the Month, and that Cardinals game was the game that exposed Rex Grossman. After that, he was done. He was NFC Player of the Month just before that.
He was always up and down, though.
No, he wasn't up and down. What happened was we had Grossman for like 2 or 3 years before that. He got hurt every year. He tore his thumb up one time. I think he hurt his knee. And so this was the first
Such
year.
a bad pick.
He actually he was cool. But then, so everybody was on fire, right? Like, oh my God, Rex Grossman's doing his thing because he finally started the year. He was finally healthy. And then we're killing. And then they figured him out after they had some tape on him. No one had tape on this dude.
Hey, Joel, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you can get figured out, you ain't good.
No. What I'm saying is that nobody knew what he could do. And so at first it looked like we had a quarterback. And then after he was on fire for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. He gets to Arizona. That's the game where they figured him out. And then after that, everybody had the tape on him. They know what he could do. He's too short. He couldn't figure out. They knew what his weaknesses were. And then he got exposed.
I'm telling you, dog, he was never a good quarterback. He had a nice run before they had tape on him. I give you that. But he was never a good quarterback. That man literally took the snap, ran that way, and then just turned off his back foot and threw it up there. And I was like, what?
Because whatever he was used to doing, they shut that down. So now he's panicking. So he wasn't a good quarterback because he couldn't overcome when they started to scheme for his strengths. So he couldn't overcome his weaknesses.
Hey, that mud was awful.
He had I'll say this though, he had a pretty deep ball. His Bernard Berrien, I remember him throwing at him. I think, did we still have Booker at the time? He had a pretty deep ball, but he was so short, he couldn't look over. He couldn't make the short intermediate throws.
Hey, it's a lot of QBs that broke that myth. There's a lot of short QBs out here killing the game right now.
I didn't say that short quarterback. His deficiencies was that they figured he couldn't overcome those.
Hey, his deficiencies was that mug was bad.
I like Mike Davis, DeMarcus Ware. Yeah, I definitely agree with DeMarcus Ware or Torrey Holt. Heck yeah.
Quick side, do y'all think DeMarcus Ware or Torrey Holt should also have been left out?
No, I don't think they should have been left out.
This is the thing. There should never be a point where we putting in a referee. This is the problem with the Hall of Fame voting. Writers are putting these mugs in. Yeah, writers have bias.
Right.
The NFL Hall of Fame was invalid the moment that T.O. didn't get in first ballot. The NFL Hall of Fame is politics.
Yeah.
Did I like you? It's not were you a good player. It's not what were your numbers on the field. It's did I like you? That's why Devon will get in. Everybody likes Devon.
Right.
Now, he's got numbers to back it up as well. He's the greatest punt returner of all time. But there's something to be said when you look at a Hall of Fame and literally, what are we saying? Second best wide receiver of all time? Maybe third behind Randy? T.O. behind Randy?
Yeah.
Third best Hall of Famer of all time? Or third best wide receiver of all time? Is not first ballot?
Randy Moss is my number one favorite all time, period. Hands down. I get Jerry Rice, I get all that, but Randy Moss for this guy right here.
Hey, I mean, shout out to you, but fam, I went and looked at it one day because I was like, man, how's T.O. still behind? How's T.O. Not first ballot? And I went and looked at the receiver numbers, and I was like, my God, Jerry Rice was ridiculous.
You had a great scheme. That was a perfect, great situation. He still was good, though.
You can say what you want. There's a lot of dudes that do not come close.
I mean, yeah, he was a great possession receiver.
I'm talking about in them top three. They numbers are not close. I actually think T.O. got better numbers than Randy. If I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that. I thought T.O. had better numbers than Randy. But I mean, I don't know, dog. Like the Hall of Fame, the NFL Hall of Fame is a sham anyway to me. Anything where I'm not gonna lie to you, anything where the writers put you in, which is all the Hall of Fames, is an issue to me because there's bias. Same way like with the MVP voting. I'm not going to vote for Aaron Rodgers as the MVP because I don't like his political stances and blah, blah, blah. Hey, fam, was he the best player on the field or not? Guess what? He was, and he won it. Hey, have fun.
Check this out. Jerry Rice is number one, 22,895 yards. Larry Fitzgerald is number two in all-time receiving yards, 17,492. Terrell Owens, number three at 15,934, and Randy Moss is 15,292. Isaac Bruce is just under him at 15,208. Torrey Holt is 16th
So
in
Jerry Rice is how far ahead of Larry Fitzgerald?
5,000.
Jesus Christ. Dog, come on. Hey, I didn't even know. I don't think when I looked, because when T.O. got in, I don't think when I looked, Larry Fitzgerald was on was above T.O.
But
Because
see,
this is what T.O. got in 2 years ago?
yeah, but see, think about it though. We're
3
talking
years?
about
No, this was longer than that ago. How long ago T.O. get in?
he got in like I don't know 4 years,
5
5
years
years
ago,
ago.
something like that. I don't think Larry Fitzgerald was even up there. But I remember seeing T.O. and I was like, he's the second greatest receiver of all time. What are y'all talking about? And I looked at Jerry Rice and I was like, that's a lot of difference.
Yeah, but see, you gotta remember though, Jerry Rice played till he was like 65 years old. And Larry Fitzgerald
Hey,
was
credit to him.
also, I'm just saying, but that's longevity versus like true impact. I mean, he's getting receiving yards while he's playing in Seattle, and there's some throwaway seasons. I mean, he was effective in Oakland, but like Terrell Owens, I mean, they
How
did
many yards is he getting, dog? What are we talking about? Extra 500 yards?
that. I mean, 500,000. I mean, that adds up. The point is like Randy Moss. I felt like he only
Hey,
played from what 98
hey,
to
what year did
2012.
Jerry Rice play to? I ain't gonna lie to you. Jerry
He
Rice did
played
play a
till
long time.
'04, from 1985 to
Hey,
04.
Jerry Rice did play a long time. I'm definitely not gonna lie to you, dog. Because Jerry, I remember I watched Jerry Rice and I was like, my dad was like, yeah, that's Jerry Rice. Remember, you saw him, and he was not good in the game I saw him in.
Yeah, he had a. Yeah, I mean, they loved him, so he played 19 years. I mean, if you average, I mean, average those yardage over 19 years versus Larry Fitzgerald from '04 to 2020. Megatron is
Dang.
Megatron
Hey, let's be real though. Hey, listen.
11,000. He's 32 all time.
Hey, hold on though.
Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson was a monster though. Hold on though, dog.
And
Let's
that's
be real
9
though.
years. So
Hey,
I would say
we
an
can
average.
say what we want about he played till he was 43. That's why he did this. Blah blah blah. Impact. He didn't stop getting over 1,000 yards until his last 2 seasons. Now he's got a couple in there where I think, okay, so he's got 2 in the middle where he had 830.
Let's just say this. He averaged about 1,200 yards a year. That's still a very good receiver. 1,200 is nothing. That's he. I'm not saying Jerry Rice wasn't great at all. I just have my favorite.
We're saying along how his career, like he played for so long. It's not like he was just playing, just getting yards. I was thinking like, what did he get, 500 yards that season? Fam, he had 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns in 2001. Now, them last 3 years, you kind of see him fall off, but he was impactful pretty much to the end.
And Larry Fitzgerald averaged, I'd say, almost 1,100 for his 16-year career. He averaged about 1,100 yards a year. Let's see what T.O. was, because that's what I want to see, what T.O.'s impact with Randy Moss is. So if T.O. played from 96, 14 years, and then you take that 1,594, divide that by 14 years, he was 1,138. So he's a little bit better than technically average, a higher average yards for over Larry Fitzgerald. And then Randy Moss was, let's see, he played for 98. And so he played for.
Did I just come in here and y'all talking about Jerry Rice?
Jerry Rice? So Randy Moss.
That's how I read it. Did I just come in here and y'all talking about Jerry Rice?
Ooh, say it again, Mufasa.
Ooh. Mufasa.
So actually, Randy Moss was about almost 1,100 yards. So Larry Fitzgerald, Terrell Owens, and Randy Moss averaged close around 1,100 yards a season, but Jerry Rice was about 1,200 a year in yardage.
That's crazy. Hey, dog. He can be whoever you want can be your favorite, As long as you acknowledge that Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver of all time.
He is the greatest, but my favorite is Randy Moss.
Hey, there you go. That's fine.
T.O.
Mine was T.O. My favorite was T.O. I always loved T.O. But when I went, because to me, I had to go look. I was like, gee, there's no way that T.O.'s not first ballot. He's the greatest wide receiver of all time. My dad was like, you might want to look at Jerry Rice. I went and looked, and I'm like, man, ain't no, oh my God.
Yeah, it was at that moment that Pat realized that he effed up.
Hey, no, for real. I'm talking about, I had to go, I was just like, respect to that man. And the thing was, right, so like what a lot of them was, like with Michael Irvin, I always say, like, fam, y'all wasn't running an offense. Y'all was just telling, like, nobody cared what y'all did because Emmitt Smith was behind the greatest offensive line of all time. And so, like, he was just weaving and riding through everybody. So that's all they cared about. So Michael Irvin was out there and he was just like, well, it's a streak. It's always a streak. Troy Aikman wasn't a good quarterback. His completion percentage is like 49%. So he tried to put that mug in there. But dog, I looked at Jerry Rice and I was like, he could run this offense today.
Kid, what are you talking about? You talking about how we paying for the Benz?
Straight cash, homie.
I fell right into that one.
Hey. Yeah,
G-Shine, I'm throwing to Moss. That's my guy. Moss, straight dude, cash, come on. Moss, that dude said, throw it up. It's there. They said, oh boy, Kerry Collins didn't want to throw it to him. He's like, throw me the ball.
Hey. And on the flip side, dog, that mug said, the T.O. story is still my favorite one that he told on Shannon's podcast. The man came back and said, I wasn't trying to create no trouble. You know what I'm saying? I was being cool, man. I didn't want to, I had that narrative on me already. I didn't want to keep that narrative on me. Man, so I go back, I'm like, man, Donovan, I was open down there. You ain't see me, man. Why you didn't, throw it up? Shut the up. Oh, okay.
Right, yeah.
Hey, listen, I know Donovan from Chicago. Not a good dude. Not a good dude. Hey, and I hear that from a lot of people. Now, I don't know personally, but from a lot of the players that talk about Donovan, they just be like, hey, he was here.
That's a weird
and
dynamic
he could play football.
To hear that. Yeah, he had like a crazy chip on his shoulder where it's like, I don't know, his self-confidence of I have to be the guy.
And T.O. didn't double down on that he was so wasted before the Super Bowl and hung over at the Super Bowl story so many times. I gotta believe it's true at this point. He done went on every show and said that.
Yeah.
Crazy, dog. Crazy. Yeah. Hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. If y'all still sticking around, even though you came into the chat and we were talking about Jerry Rice. I appreciate y'all. Hey, that's a fact. Hey, kid, I didn't want to tell your story, kid. I was gonna let you get here and tell it. When Ocho Cinco come through, he called his coach at 3 a.m. like, "Hey, coach, what, Chad? I'm open." And then hang up. The best part is like everybody got their stories. The coach confirming it. Like, no, he absolutely did that. I got sick of it. Appreciate y'all pulling up, showing love, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. We appreciate all the real ones here this morning. It's Friday morning. We had craziness yesterday. We spent an hour talking about special teams. We spent an hour talking about special teams, though. It's crazy. Well, solid 45 minutes. And then we spent 15 minutes on Jerry Rice.
No, you argue special teams all day. You know, you got everybody all,
Hey, listen, y'all brought the topic to me. I was going to avoid the topic because I knew Muzz wasn't going to like my take on it. You talk about Cuzzo Donovan McNabb.
I like Donovan McNabb. I was,
I love McNabb because I was like, he's great. He's from Chicago and he's a great quarterback. We should have drafted him. At that point, I absolutely believed the Bears were racist because I was a kid and I was just like, they just didn't want him because he was black. But I've grown up and changed my opinion. But at the same time, unless I've never met him, but from a lot of the teammates he played with, I've heard he is not a good dude.
Yeah,
Pat argued. Hey, it is what it is, baby. We out here talking about practice. We out here talking about special teams. Hey, yesterday, something we don't have to argue on. Yesterday, the Philadelphia 76ers got fleeced.
But they on paper, Did they? Well, the
Yeah,
draft picks maybe the
100%.
unprotected draft pick, but
Hey, nope, the team sent them.
eh,
Hey, you sent them Seth Curry and got back Paul Millsap.
yeah, 37-year-old Paul. Hey, why was I looking that up in fantasy? Like, Drummond's going to take off. Let me get Paul Millsap. They're like, oh, he's 37. Oh, he's over there. Never mind.
You should have picked him up because
He's not going to do
he
nothing.
absolutely is going to have to play. They sent a backup center to Brooklyn.
But he barely play. I mean, he can play.
You didn't
back
even get
before.
Claxton. Get Claxton. Hey, listen, you sending us an old dude. We're sending you some nice young talent. Literally everybody in the deal is under 30. Andre Drummond is 28. Ben Simmons is 24, 5, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Seth Curry, I believe, is 29. He might be 30. You got back a 37, and you sent him 2 draft picks. You literally sent him 5 players that are going to be under 30. Yeah, now, granted, they're probably going to ship them picks off at some point in the offseason. But, dog, you let them keep Patty Mills. You didn't get back Claxton. You didn't get back. You asked for 2 picks. Next thing you found, I feel like the
Nets
the Sixers. I feel like the Sixers woke up this morning and were just like, fam, I swear I forgot code outside, and he just looked at me through the window. It's the scariest thing in the world. I see why people scared of my dog. I feel like the Sixers woke up this morning and just got wasted yesterday during the deadline. We're just like, oh man,
we're going all in.
What happened? What did we lose? 2 picks. Like they just switched it around. Fam, they did the chessboard move on them. You know, when somebody, like in a cartoon, when somebody's got the chessboard and it's like this, and they were like, yeah, we want 2 picks from you. Oh, okay. Hey, is that Bill Maher? Bill Maher. Switch.
You know, on paper, it looks like Brooklyn really won. But to me, you got some personalities on there. Ben Simmons is not a winner to me. Like now he gets to be the third wheel, I guess, where he's now comfortable. But is KD going to really lead them to the championship? Like, I mean, we know Drummond's going to feast. Now Drummond, all he's got to do is get his 20 rebounds a game and be a starting center.
Let me clarify this, Baki. Coda's in Akita. He's out. He's happy outside. Baki said, you being bogus, Dakota. He's fine. He just gives me that look every now and then, like, I've been out here a little long, my G. Go ahead. I didn't want animal cruelty showing up to mine. You know, I got PETA at the front door now because you left your doggy outside. It was a Pomeranian. No, he is a 110-pound bear. He's good. Shout out to MJ, man. But no, man, like on paper, here's the question, right? And this is the question to me. Is it better to rearrange your entire team, which Philly did? I mean, it's not like you got rid of pieces that weren't a big part of what you're doing. Andre Drummond was a big part of what they're doing out in Philadelphia. He was playing, 22 to 25 minutes a game? Yeah. Seth Curry was starting for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it better to rearrange your entire team to get that player in there and hope that it works? Or is it better to kind of do it how the Bulls did, where, yeah, we've got this chemistry built up. We've got it to a point where we feel good about it when this team's 100%. We're just injured right now. Let's stand pat. Let's see if we can pick something up in the buyout market and just add to our team.
Yeah, but
because I think Philly's threat is. Do you feel like Philly's more or less of a threat now than they were yesterday?
They're more of a threat. They got a blue chip all-star top 2 caliber player, top 3 caliber player over there to offset another killer in Embiid. Embiid is going off
with less of a team, though. So now, the good thing about Joel Embiid, if you watch like when the Bulls play Philly and stuff like that, there'd be stretches where we'd look up and we'd be like, we haven't seen Joel Embiid in like 10 minutes, like 10 actual minutes on the court. What the heck is happening? And then you look and you'd be like, oh, Drummond's in there. How many points he got? Why does he have 15 and 15 right now?
Drummond, no, really, he just feasted whenever Embiid is on the bench. I mean, like out
But
for the
but what
game.
I'm saying is you don't have that luxury now. Paul Millsap's 37 years old. He's not giving you 10 minutes. He's not, I should say this. He's not giving you the 10 minutes straight that Drummond was going to give you. Like legitimately, you would forget Embiid was not in the game.
Yeah, but Harden is a real impact player. Like it changes the dynamic that they don't need necessarily lean on those other guys. But see, you still got who's the small forward over there? Who's your boy? You know, they
Tobias Harris.
yeah, they still got a squad. And it's probably going to change the dynamic of whatever they're going to run anyways. I think Brooklyn is full of a bunch of personalities that probably not going how they going to all mesh? That to me is that they're already in 8th place. I mean, they might be able to pull some stuff together, but we don't know when is KD coming back.
Hey, this is the thing. Brooklyn is scary for one reason right now. Brooklyn is competitive again for one reason right now. Your starting center just got traded to you. And we can say what we want about Drummond. When he plays minutes, like real minutes, the last time Drummond played real minutes for them, 42 minutes, 16 points, 23 rebounds, 5 assists on 8 of 11 shooting.
No. The actual winner of this is that they got Drummond. Like
Yeah.
Ben Simmons is like, all right, now he's the third wheel that can probably defend. He doesn't want to shoot. You know, he's just a disappointment to me in general that he's not the guy that he was drafted to be, the number 1 pick overall, and stealing all that money that he's been stealing. Like he's underachieved. So now he gets it's really that Drummond with KD. That's the problem.
Yeah. No, for real. Because to me, like, that's the part Mun's not thinking about. I'm like, I'm not worried about, like, okay, Ben Simmons on that team absolutely makes an impact. He's a defensive player of the year kind of player. Now, literally, although everybody's like, now he doesn't have to shoot. He didn't have to shoot on the other team. We just asked him to make a layup. But now he doesn't even have to do that because you got Kyrie, you got KD. Now, like, literally, it's just like, just facilitate. Just let Kyrie be a 2-guard and facilitate and play defense. That's all we want you to do. We don't want you to do nothing else. The big part is now for every shot Kyrie miss or for every shot KD miss, which probably not going to be a ton of them, you're going to get tip outs. You're going to get that offensive board. He's literally like, I'm not going to lie to you. I understand Drummond is like oh, we kind of forgot about this dude, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at his numbers, like you almost got to look at Andre Drummond as like, hey, yo, is this dude going to go to the Hall of Fame?
His rebound numbers are ridiculous.
Ridiculous. You literally have to look at Andre Drummond like, is this dude really like possibly a Hall of Famer? And I think that a lot of people kind of forgot about him because one, he went over to play with the Lakers with LeBron. They didn't. Apparently, the Lakers don't believe in big men at all. They just be like, oh yeah, he's large. And then in Philly, he was the backup.
But he's more of a throwback.
But the last time we saw him playing 20 to 25 minutes a game, he was 17 and 15.
But he has to probably be in that type of system, like almost Draymond-ish, like, you know, where he's not, because he's not a true offensive guy, but he can get all those rebounds. So like,
it's putbacks.
Yeah, so like the way the scheme works for him. So whatever scheme that he was in, like, so it didn't. He's not in Philly. He doesn't do what Embiid does, right?
Yeah.
He really needed to be a 4 playing off of him so that he could just be the rebounder kind of guy, because he's not going to score. He's not a focal point like Embiid is. So if he's going, Brooklyn probably works for him. He doesn't have to do nothing but just rebound, because you got all the shooters. You know,
it's crazy to think like, fam, that lineup is going to be crazy. I would absolutely put LaMarcus Aldridge on the bench. I would run a lineup of Kyrie, Seth Curry, KD, Ben Simmons,
and Drummond. Yeah.
Now coming off of your bench, and think about that. Even if it's the other way around, even if it's Draymond, or if it's Ben Simmons and LaMarcus Aldridge, fam, their inside presence just went through the roof. But the one thing that I was like, I'm not worried about them on, just went through the roof. The team to beat still is the Brooklyn Nets. Team to beat, like, if anything, more so now than ever. Like, you're going to get this team moving in the right direction, and then you're going to throw KD on it, who's the ultimate teammate.
But is
You
he
know what
really?
I'm saying? Like
But is
KD,
he really the guy though? Is he really? He's not that. He's not that leader dude that just coming in and he's the alpha dude. He's not.
no, he's the dude that's gonna put you on his back and get you where you need to go.
He's a good team player, but is he really that killer, that leader is going to lead you to the promised land? I don't know about that.
I mean, he was one big toe away from getting to the next round. hey, he was that shoe was just a little bit too big from getting to the next round. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a game winning shot he knocked down. He just didn't knock it down with his foot in the right spot.
Yeah,
So
I'm just saying that.
I think KD is that good of a player. You know, we kind of minimize KD's what they did in OKC. I don't know why, but we kind of minimize what they did in OKC at a young age. KD got a team to the finals, and was the reason they got to the finals, along
Yeah.
with Russ, along with Harden. But that team don't get there without KD. KD has done this before, but
My question.
we don't count it because we look at matured KD 3-1, and all of a sudden he gets beat by arguably the greatest team that we've seen in this modern era, the team that shaped this modern era. Let's be real. And
collusion, whatever.
Now all of a sudden it's KD, can he lead a team to the finals by himself? Or well, not by himself, but just dealing with all the craziness. By the way, did anybody as the pettiest man alive enters the building? He was arguing loud in the chat.
First off, I wasn't arguing. I was defending special teams that you just want to kill for some reason.
Hey, I don't want to kill him. I just put him in the, you know what I'm
you just devalue them all the way.
Devalue the entire, like, oh, they're only on the floor for third of the time, right? Well, that third is really freaking important if it won Super Bowl.
Well, first off, if you look at the numbers, they're not on the field a third of the time. So,
hey, listen, the 2 minutes that they're on the field, if you can get 36 touchdowns out of it, you're pretty freaking important.
Hey, all right.
But switching back, I just feel that the question is, will KD actually be? He's now the leader versus he had the black hole Westbrook that shot him out of the finals. He's on Golden State with a stacked squad, you know. Then he's in Brooklyn, so he had, you know, Harden with Kyrie. It's really him.
You know, out of everybody, I'm not worried about him. Like, I'm not worried about if KD can lead this team, and if
I'm worried about if Kyrie can be there.
You know, you want to know why I'm not worried? It's the way that they worded how he spoke with Rich Paul and Ben Simmons, which is ultimately they're like, yeah, they heard about the trade, got on the phone with KD. KD was like, yeah, we're happy you're here, but we're going to work. So in so many ways, he pretty much telling them, hey, you better come with your bag, because you're going to work right now. Like, we in the gym. Like, and that's all KD does. Did you see how he drafted his team? He looked like he was in the gym right then.
bro. No, you know what it is? He hates TNT.
He does.
He hates them dudes at TNT. He looked so mad that Chuck got him to laugh. That I respect Chuck. I'm that dude. You can hate me, but you will laugh at one of these jokes. You can hate. I've had dudes that wanted to literally punch me in the face, but in the middle of it, they'd be like, that was funny. Yeah. I'm that dude. Like, I respect
that was a
Chuck.
Classic moment.
I respect Chuck for going. He told that man, he said, James hurt, ain't he? Hey, Brian set it up on a tee for him too. I feel like Brian knew what he was doing.
Hey, LeBron did that on purpose,
ain't he? What if he can't play? Oh, he healthy now. He didn't got traded. He healthy now. Hey, KD was like,
put some icy hat on that thing right now.
I love Chuck, dog.
Hey, what gets me is Chuck.
Hey, no.
Chuck is really retiring after
last
this.
night too, bro. Chuck hit him with the bar. What did he say? They were showing the Nets game.
Half man, half a season.
There goes Kyrie. Half man, half a season. Hey, dog. Hey, you can hate Charles Barkley because you're a KD fan and you want to side with him. You can hate Charles Barkley because sometimes he says some dumb stuff and his basketball takes don't always be on point. But you cannot hate Charles Barkley, the man, dog. That man will tell you how he feel, whether you like it or not. And doggone, he do not care if you are in a position of power with him. He must be killing that man. He said they go half man, half a season.
Hey, but it's such an awkward position to be in if you KD. It was like, you know what? I can't really put him on a team. I shouldn't put him on the team. You know what? I really want to know how he feels about Harden because I think he's so disappointed.
I think KD. I think what it is, you saw the relationship of when you try to bring your two friends together and they don't like each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bring I'm gonna bring Kid in and I'm gonna hook him up with my boy Jay, and y'all really don't hang out at all.
Yeah.
And then you get in that weird situation where you like, oh, they personalities don't really fit together, and ain't nobody talking at that point. I feel like that's what James did. Like, oh, that's my brother. Oh, but Kyrie, my brother too. Oh yeah, my brother's brother. Let's get it in. We in here. We all working together. And then they got together, and Kyrie was like, "So let me tell you about how we can come together as a black people." And James Harden was like, "I'm trying to figure out how to make a layup right." Like, what are you talking about?
Nah, James Harden is like, yo, I'm trying to get back to Philly for these strip clubs because y'all have nothing here.
Hey, Brooklyn ain't got no strip club. Brooklyn strip club scene weak like that?
They say it's trash.
Oh man, dog. Too cold.
Why they all go down south for their stuff?
It's too cold for strippers.
I don't know, dog. Hey, listen, don't ask me. I'm not a participant of that world.
KOD.
You know what I'm saying?
The tweet of the day I saw yesterday, they was like, somebody said, I keep hearing that Brooklyn won this trade, that Philly won this trade. The real winners out here is the Philly strippers. Congratulations, ladies. You just came up.
Hey, that man re-upped his bag, and now they just know. Hey, best lineup. Fly him in. We don't care where we got to get the girls from, but he's about to drop this entire contract right now. Hey, that entertainment tax is about to be high. I wonder if he does write off all the money he throws.
Probably.
Because you have an entertainment tax.
Yeah.
You smart. Well, they know. Well, I don't know if all of them know, but I know. Who was it? Was it Shaq? It was either Shaq or somebody said they went to the strip club, but they had money. I don't know. I don't think it was Shaq. Somebody said, but they had money set. Like they had a strip club allocation fund, so they knew like the money was already counted out. They knew like I took three bricks. That's 30 bands. You know what I'm saying? So they already had it done. And so I was like, what, why did he do that? And I thought about it, I was like, oh, he needed to know how much money he throwing so he can write that off.
Yeah.
You want to know how
what do you tell your tax guy on that? What was that write-off on? Booty expense.
Entertainment.
I figured that out through a movie that came out like 10 years ago, Margin Call. It was about the collapse. We ain't gonna get too deep into that one, but like they were at the strip club and he was talking about how much he makes and how much he spent on entertainment and how much he gets to use as a write-off for entertainment. And I was like, oh, that's real? Then I did some research. It's real. So you mean to tell me all the times that people be going to these strip clubs throwing this money just because they don't want to pay the IRS?
Yeah. Or I mean, they can put it to other good use, like donors, for nonprofits.
Now this is the thing. I'm not a strip club guy, but if I donate the money to somebody who's willing to invest in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a strip club guy, but if I donate that money to somebody who's willing to invest, you know what I'm saying? Do I still get the write-off on that?
I mean, technically, you're still investing. You're investing in single mothers and regret.
And regret. Hey, good morning, world.
I mean, it's still an investment. Just maybe not the one you wanted it to be.
That's a hard joke, but we'll allow it. So I'm gonna be real with y'all though. Like,
that was a hard joke.
That was a hard joke, but we'll allow it. I'm gonna be real though. I don't feel like reshaping a big chunk of what your team is, especially your bench, has proven to win an NBA championship. To the point where in the middle of the season, we've seen Brian do this a couple of times. We've seen I mean, we really didn't see Golden State do it, but we've seen teams kind of sell out to, we got to get this player in here to make our team better. But the problem is now you got your superstar running 45 minutes a night and he's gassed by the time the playoffs get there. Because right now, I'm like, unless you pull in now buyout market, they could still be active. I don't know if they have a roster spot available there. But I mean, you're talking about Joel Embiid doesn't have a backup now. Paul Millsap's Joel Embiid's backup. Where
Buyout
Andre
market, though.
Drummond was a solid 15 minutes straight of like, where's Joel?
The buyout market for them is probably where they reshape or retool a lot of stuff. I think that the biggest issue there is, this is, and it's not to go run contrary to what you just mentioned, but at the same time, I look at the chemistry. Like Maxey, why was Maxey able to do what he's doing? Because he had the ball in his hand. He got the opportunities to evolve and build confidence within his game.
Absolutely.
Why did Seth Curry evolve the way he was evolving? Because he was able to make those shots and it come within his game. They built a synergy there that allowed them to be top 3 in the East. They worked their way up. It came together. I'm against breaking that up for a player. Did they make the best move for how they can for winning maybe in the future? I think so. I think they got better, but because they have to now work on that chemistry and everything like that, I don't like that part.
I don't think
it might be attrition though. It might be that they have Bassey, they have Paul Reed. Maybe they think they can get some out of these guys and shift that. And with the impact of James Harden.
But you got to take the ball out of Harden's hand then.
No. You're talking about you said about a backup center, for example.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But my point is that it could be that they look at some of the young guys they have. They got a rookie in Charles Bassey. They got Paul Reed. And maybe they think they can get something out of those guys. I didn't see them really doing anything prior to this trade.
Yeah.
But then Harden is such an impact player that, I mean, he tips the scale on the other end of an offensive side of the ball. So they lose some of their depth, but were they really going to win a championship as the team was constructed, even with Ben Simmons? They still now they got a dynamic scorer that can pass the ball, distribute, and do the things better than what Ben Simmons was doing.
The only thing I'll say to that is they were winning a lot with just Joel. Now we might say versus a Phoenix.
Wasn't just Joel though.
It was a lot of people that were doing it. But what I'm saying is like Joel's the focal point of it with the team they had. We're talking about Philly like they just came up on the bag and now they're guaranteed championship. I think their championship hopes were better with the team they had. Now, like you said, in the future when you work that in, that might work out. But listen, Joel Embiid's not the pick and roll guy. He's not playing the Vooch role. Joel Embiid's gonna have the ball in his hand. The pick and roll guy in this situation is probably going to be a Paul Reed, is probably going to be those young guys of, hey, set the screen, I'm coming off of it. James Harden literally built Capella's career on catch this oop.
Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if it's writers, but I have really appreciated the women of basketball being involved on the shows that, what is it, ESPN now? I forget which one it is.
Malika Andrews and
what is her name? Starts with a C.
I forget.
Y'all know who I'm talking about. Dark skin.
Yeah.
Cute, pretty woman.
She played for the Atlanta Dream.
She did play ball. I forgot her name, but
she still play ball.
She made an interesting point the other day. She was like, she made the same point that you were alluding to, that he's not the pick and roll guy, but realistically, he's never had a someone who he could roll that with effectively.
Ooh,
so now he does.
That. No, with Ben Simmons. If you run pick and roll with Embiid and Ben Simmons, it didn't happen, so of course it's not there. But I feel like Ben Simmons could be the ultimate pick and roll guy. No, not Taylor Rooks. Not Taylor Rooks.
Not Taylor Rooks. It's the one. I know how to pronounce it, but since he actually put in how it's actually spelled, I just drew a whole blank. It's like, oh my god, I've been saying his name this entire time. But anyway, but he's not a shooter.
Yeah.
Which limits how you can even put that in play.
Yeah,
because people are going to play back on Embiid because they know, all right, listen, Ben ain't finna shoot this thing. Like, I'm not worried about that. If he shoot, he shoot. I'm gonna just go ahead and double Embiid on his roll. Like that's really what it is.
That ain't a great decision either.
This is like some Shaq Kobe.
We're gonna play back. Oh no.
Yeah, it is. They could have a nice.
This is a straight up serious dynamic duo. Like this is a dynamic duo versus you need a big three to win. Like these two guys, if they put it together, really can do some damage. I just think that Brooklyn has to figure out, are they really going to mesh, because that's more pieces added to a team to try to figure out how they all work, because there's at least, I mean, the four players do really good things. Will they all work together? Because it's like Lonzo coming to Chicago, right? My impression was when Lonzo got here, he might be more of a distributor, but he kind of like he not really much of a distributor. It's like, where do they fit? Or it's like LeBron when he got Bosh and Wade, or LeBron with Kevin Love. Like, someone's going to shrink in their role. And to me, what's Brooklyn going to do with those three? Now, because I don't believe in Ben Simmons really being that guy, he'll probably gladly take the shrinking role.
Absolutely.
Just so that he can fit in with them.
Work. That's why it's going to work. Because he doesn't want to be that dude. He wants to be what's he making, 180 something million or 200 something, you know what I'm saying? He wants to be that dude, but he doesn't want what comes with being that dude.
Yeah.
What comes with being that dude is being the face of a franchise, being a big name, being a big part of this franchise. And so to me, I ain't gonna lie to you. Listen, Ben Simmons, you might feel happy, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you think Brooklyn is gonna treat you better than Philly, now you might be in a better situation where you don't have to take them shots, but you do that mess you did in the playoffs with Danilo Gallinari versus
Trae Young.
Brooklyn is absolutely gonna treat you exactly how Philly was gonna treat you.
Here's the one thing I will say though. Two things. One, to Jay's point, look at how many holes in their lineup they filled. Initially, who were the spot up shooters?
Brooklyn rebuilt their whole team.
Yeah, who were the spot
We're
up
not
shooters?
even talking about it. Ain't Joe Harris coming back? If he
Joe
can
Harris
hit
is coming back. So they didn't have spot up shooters. Now they have at least 3 spot up shooters.
Yeah.
That works for Kyrie's game. Who, you know, I know that people hate Kyrie the person more than they hate the player. When you look at the player, Kyrie plays the right way.
Kyrie's
incredible. He can just break you down, and it's just exciting to watch. Yeah. But he plays the right way.
Yeah.
And he can score at will. When you look at KD, he plays the right way. He can fit in any system. They're not going to have a conflict there. You have Seth Curry, who's going to get a lot of looks because all the attention is going to be focused on them. You have Ben, who can sit there and facilitate. Ben can actually play the 5. Ben is that big of a dude. He's 6'11".
Yeah, very true. But it's up here. Like, a lot of guys, when you get to that level, I mean, they all can clearly play. Yeah. But who's going to shine when you need them? And
he can be Andre Iguodala.
I mean, right.
Andre Iguodala was supposed to be that guy. He never was that
shoot a 3 though.
He became a lockdown defender in a shooter, but he came in the league supposed to be the second coming of AI for Philly.
I don't know about that. I think
you know what I'm talking about.
They looked at him like a Pippen. He was, but I don't think they ever looked at him as like the guy that was really going to be the face of that team. I mean, he was a good player.
They definitely did.
No,
they definitely did when they was going up against Derrick Rose, because remember, they slowly phased Danny Granger out because Danny Granger was that dude, and then they were like, "Ooh,
Danny Granger still could have." Danny Granger was that dude until he left.
Injuries kind of did.
Injuries took away from Danny Granger, but they slowly phased in. You know, it was like
he's a good.
Iggy,
I'm not saying he wasn't good
now.
Yeah, they tried to. I don't think he was that building. You know what? He was almost Jimmy Butler-ish, where it's like he's the guy. You need other players. Like, I mean, we like him.
You need a team around him for him to be as great as he's going to be. Yes. But he can absolutely be that leader. He can absolutely be that point that gets the engine going. It just, you need the rest of the truck to come with it.
Right. Mm-hmm. He's a good player. And he's the right player that fits in another system, which is why he excelled even in Golden State, even at his age. Because what is he, 30? Ooh, what is he, 36?
He might be up there with Paul. He got to be up there with Paul Millsap.
Who you talking about?
How old Iguodala is?
Iggy's 35, 36,
yeah.
That's why he's about to retire.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that there's...
Y'all know who Philly matches up with now, though?
Who?
Milwaukee. They match up evenly with Milwaukee now.
Well, they're actually better. I mean,
they're better.
Yeah, I mean, the matchup there, but like who's
Tobias Harris is Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
I'm taking Drew Holiday over
Chris is
over
probably
the
guarding
latest
James.
iteration of James Harden right now. I'm be honest with you.
Chris is probably guarding James
Huh?
because of the size.
I'm taking Drew Holiday right now over the James Harden I've been seeing as of late. If James Harden comes back and he's back to being the James we know,
let's be real. Houston James Harden. For
if
them to
he's
win the
Houston James
championship,
Harden, that's a
for
different
them to
James
win a
Harden.
championship, he's got to be Houston James Harden.
But this the James Harden we've been getting. No, I'm taking Drew Holiday because at least I know I'm getting elite defense at the same time with good playmaking and shooting. Like he affects the game differently.
Yeah,
he really runs the game he really runs the system for them when Giannis doesn't have to, be Giannis. That's what I like about the Bucks. Giannis has those moments where he's Giannis. Superman, get out my way. Euro step, I'm laying it up, hand over the rim, whatever, right? But then there's moments where you absolutely see everything flow through Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're also, I love seeing that.
They're also a cohesive team that's been playing for a while now. So we do have to see how both teams, I mean, with Philly, how they work together. So
I think that's the thing too, right? Everything looks great on paper. We thought the Sabonis trade was going to be the worst thing ever, and then they went out and won a game immediately. So what's that going to look like when it's all said and done? And they looked good. What's that going to be like when it's all said and done? You know what I'm saying? Does Sabonis actually decide to stick it out there? I think the interesting thing about the trade deadline is like, and it's like what kids said, you have to take chemistry into account. And I like how to me, I like how AK did it. Now, would I have liked to get a big man in here? Really, the one going back through and looking at the list, the only big man that really made sense was Jakob Poeltl. I think once they were out, I do that every time, dog. I think once they were out on Jakob, there was no point in going to get anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Drummond was going to be a part of a bigger package. Harrell was part of a bigger package. You know what I'm saying? They were using those big name guys, those role playing big men that we were talking about to make money work on deals. You know what I'm saying? Like the deals that Portland made. Yeah, you can get them for they got these guys for nothing. Yeah, they got them for nothing because they were sending them to try and get draft picks back, stuff that the Bulls can't send right now. So I think once AK was out on Jakob, and as I look at, there's really not another big man name that makes sense. There's really not. You know what I'm saying?
We say it every time we say it.
Jakob.
I used to do that whenever I would, because I would play with Jakob Poeltl on I think he was on Toronto before, and I would play with him using versus Ringo. And every time I made a turnaround or a back to the basket layup, Jakob.
Man, I haven't played any of that stuff in so long.
But no, I how did y'all view what AK did yesterday? Did y'all view it as we are now a lower team in the East, we're farther behind the rest of the Eastern Conference? Or did you view it as we can still be that top 3 team we had, we just need to be healthy? We're still a top 3 team. We can still be that top team in the East that we had, we just need to be healthy.
They are top 3. I think P. Will going out really set everything back in terms of what we're supposed to see, how this team's supposed to be. And for him to be gone that early in the season, because he's a major contributor as a defender. And we have
at least the size.
Yeah, he's got the size. Like
you went from a 6'7" 4 to a 6'4" 4.
Yeah, but he's like 6'7", isn't he like 240 pounds or something like that? Yeah, like he's kind of big.
Kid.
Yeah, he's big.
Big kid. He's kind of a man child.
And he's
what Zion should be, weight and height wise.
Yeah,
you know what it is? I think we will, as a fan, I looked at the trade deadline as that moment where we wanted to be a part of the action.
Yes.
Like we didn't want to be like the kids that got left out.
That's what Bulls fans feel like today.
But in all actuality, we won the offseason.
Yeah.
We made all of our moves. We have to let it gel. We're in that part where now we just have to let it gel, and we just have to be patient for it. And I have to check myself because it's like, what did I really want? I wanted to compete and for him to be aggressive, but he's already been as aggressive as we've seen anyone in our organization be. So
I literally saw somebody yesterday on Twitter say, Can the Bulls be as good as we want them to be if Jerry Reinsdorf won't allow AK to spend money?
He
I
spent
was
the
like,
bag.
you know how much money we spent this offseason? He was like, we paid 20. What did he say? He said we paid 25 million less than the Bucks do on our team. Talking about like cap space and stuff like that. And I was like, listen, I love DeMar. We don't got a Giannis here. You know when you spin the bag? When you got Giannis Antetokounmpo standing up there putting up 50 when he rolls out of bed in a finals game. Oh, by the way, on one leg.
We're
hey,
still,
you know they shot him up for that finals. You know he was shot up for that finals, boy.
But we're number 2 in the East. We don't need to make.
We're number 2 again? Who lost?
Yeah. Miami is number 1 at 36-20. We are number 2. We're
the
tied,
Bucks lost.
Actually.
The Bucks lost to the Suns last night.
Yeah, they're 4.
Hey, by the way, on that tip, because I wanted to make this point last night, but I fell asleep at the end of that game when they got to 123-104. So are the Bucks not a good team, by the way, because they lost to the Suns as well? Just want to ask the chat that. Right,
nah.
Let's go.
Nah. Nah. The Bucks lost to the Suns, but at the end of the day, the Suns came in there with we need to win this game to redeem ourselves because we got blown out in the finals a couple games. Well, no, those were close games, but you still lost. I mean, you're looking at the people who took your candy at this point. You need to stand up for yourself, and that's what they did. And I have to say this: Devin Booker looks a lot better this year than he did last year.
That's what I was gonna say. What I saw was Devin Booker looking like, nah, Drew, it ain't that Devin no more.
It ain't sweet.
Yeah.
Because Drew Holiday had Devin Booker struggling in the final. Now, granted, listen, the final's a whole different thing. If they get back there, it might be the same thing again. Like, Drew Holiday might elevate his game to the point where he can't do nothing. But last night, I was like, nah, Devin was making a point. He was letting Drew know, listen, it ain't sweet no more. We getting busy.
He was making a lot of dumb mistakes, though.
There's 2 players. I know it's crazy, and I say this all the time. I know it might be blasphemous to say, but I swear to y'all, DeMar DeRozan and Devin Booker really look like Kobe.
Look like who?
They really look like Kobe with how they play in their game. Oh. Now, DeMar don't have as much of a 3-point shot as Kobe had developed.
Yeah.
But DeMar in the mid-range, and Book got one move, dog. I swear, I was like, my God, it looked like Kobe. He caught the ball on the block.
You mean like Mike.
Relax.
You mean Mike, right?
Hey, he caught the ball on the block, gave him the elbow bump to get the separation. He gonna turn the camera.
You mean Mike, right? Just checking.
Sorry. Hey, listen. They learned from
listening.
Kobe. Mike wasn't teaching nothing. You know, Mike wasn't teaching nobody out here. Hey, Kobe was passing on gems. Mike was like, figure it out.
No, Mike taught Kobe.
No, Kobe, first time meeting him, besides the fact that he thought he could take a one-on-one, literally was like in the game asking him for tips.
Yeah.
And that's so impressive because everyone was afraid to talk to Mike, and Kobe was like, for what?
Hey, you know what? That's why Kobe's Kobe. And that's why Kobe's Kobe, because he was the only one who had the gall to be like, hey, yo, Mike, first off, I could beat you. Second off, how you do that little bump fadeaway thing? How you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me get in on that.
Oh, so anyways, carry on. So Mike, go ahead. Mar.
No, you know what? Yes, Kobe copied Mike, mimicked Mike a lot, but Kobe had a lot of moves that Mike just didn't do.
Kobe was more offensively skilled.
From the post, the bump off fadeaway, watching Devin Booker do that, I was like, fam, that's Kobe. Like
he started to take his time.
He taking his time with it. He caught the ball on the post, bump, pump, got Buddy in the air, and then faded. I was like, dog, that's a Kobe shot. Because this is the thing. Who bumps you to create the space, pump fakes, lets you get in the air, and then fades away? Logically, that shot don't even make sense. And then you watch it, it's like, oh, Kobe Bryant. Okay. Devin Booker doing it now. Up, DeMar DeRozan.
Hold on. I see people saying that there's some Kobe hate in the chat, and I got to go into the chat. You know, there's a reason I got the wrench when I'm in the chat.
Hey, you know who it is. It's no.
Is it?
It's
Come on, no.
It's no.
What did he say?
What did he say? Kobe
Did I
weak.
miss
Okay,
one?
as
No,
long
he
as you
said
ain't talking,
he
as
said
long
the
as you ain't
same
making
thing
no
as
helicopter jokes like Buddy did last
no,
time.
no. He not reckless. He just
Yeah,
like,
like
he's
I don't
saying
know
Mike,
why
not
people think
Kobe.
it's a funny joke, but it ain't a funny joke.
Yeah,
What
Muzz
did he
was
say?
That's
wild
some
on
stuff
that
I'd
shit.
actually slap
No,
you in
no,
person
it's
for.
cool. No, it's cool. He was you can't see it in the chat because Kid blocked him. And now I don't know how to unblock him in the chat. But he's in the
I
YouTube
figured it
chat.
out, but I'm just not doing it.
Oh, you wild. At least unblock my brother.
I will unblock Mando though.
hey, Brand came in the chat spicy yesterday. He said, "Kid, that's the dumbest take I've ever heard." Kid said, "Watch this, blocked, and you gotta see me."
Hey, I
Man,
forget.
like I respect like watching Devon and watching how DeMar's playing. Like it's so dope. I love seeing that evolution because I always said Kobe gave me the opportunity to see Mike because like I saw Mike, but like I was 4, so
I didn't
didn't
see
really
young
see
Mike.
I didn't see young
90.
Mike.
I saw 90. I was able to see 90, the last 3-peat.
Last 3-peat.
I wanted to see young Mike because everyone said 91 Mike was the best Mike.
I saw 91 Mike because I didn't get a chance. I was definitely around in the sense of knowing young Mike, but my family, no one really was like on. Like I wish I saw 88 Mike because that Mike was a whole nother monster. But I got to see 91 all the way through.
Well, you just
sure.
weren't paying attention at the time. What were you, about 40 then?
Maybe.
You want to know what
he's
makes
lived like 4 lives.
progression so wild to me? Somebody was like 80s Mike was like Russell Westbrook with a better jump shot.
He was.
And I was like, man, yeah. Apparently bigger, more springs too. So I was like,
yeah,
I can't even imagine that. Like, how do you have someone that aggressive?
Westbrook
with a better jump shot.
The best part to me is me and Kid like going through because like we said we're young people on the show, and so we're going through and like looking through all the stuff that we missed, and so we just sitting there. What was we breaking down the other day? We was breaking something down about what Mike did. When Mike lost the Kid said that Charles Barkley deserved the MVP over Mike. And I was like, didn't he win Defensive Player of the Year that year? And then I looked and I was like, no, he won Defensive Player of the Year in like 89 or 88, I think. One of them.
He won all of it.
And I was like, wait a minute. Ain't this the Mike that the narrative on Mike was he's nothing but a scorer? Y'all wrote that narrative and he won Defensive Player of the Year?
Offense, he won them all. Yeah.
Yeah, that was 4 years of being drafted. And he only played 3.5 years because he broke his foot.
And he averaged like almost 6 assists a game, which is about the same amount of assists that Scotty averaged. He still averaged. Yeah,
it was just funny to see, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it was like, fam, y'all wrote these narratives and Muzz just believed it because it was in the newspaper. And it's like, fam, he was the leader in scoring in the NBA. And he was Defensive Player of the Year. A scorer can't win an NBA championship. My dog, that's a two-way player right there. What are y'all talking about? Did anyone see that video when they was putting MJ and Kobe clips over Joel clips?
Hey, you're going to have to tag me.
You're going to have to send me that. Show me that.
Oh, you talking about the moves? How he
fixed doing the similar moves? I didn't see it.
Nah, I didn't see it.
I didn't see that. I gotta say, I've seen the Kobe over MJ. It's
how they both. It was basically the same moves.
Yeah, but he's saying that they got one with Joel Embiid on it now.
Joel that's a special dude. That's Olajuwon and Ewing.
Man, I keep telling y'all, Joel is freaky.
Yeah,
Joel has been playing basketball for like 9 years, maybe 10 now.
But that's Olajuwon.
Give credit to Luol. Give Luol Deng his credit, man. Found that man playing goalie. Talk about what the heck are you doing? Go get a basketball in your hand. I'm sick of this. Go play for Kansas. Hey, that's bogus though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Luol Deng brings you over to America, sponsors you, lets you come play basketball here, and you don't go to his college. That's a little bogus right there, dog.
You go to the college that gives you the best opportunity.
Hey, that's like Chuck doing everything he can to get Yao Ming to Auburn. And Yao Ming still didn't go.
He's like, what am I going to do in Auburn?
But here's the question, though.
He He said, Chuck, I gotta go to the Army. You're 7'2". You're not going to the oh no, it's Dirk, not Yao Ming Dirk. He said, you're 7'2". You're not going to the Army. You're not gonna come back.
Say he's saying that Luke Ricard and Uma, I forgot how you say that dude's name, actually discovered Joel, not Luau.
Who?
Luke Ricard Mba Mabute or something like that. I forget how.
Luke Richard Mba Amute. Luke Richard Mba Amute.
Yeah, I think they say he brought him over here. Either way,
whoever did it, shout out to you for bringing him over.
Shout out to you, fam, for looking at the 7-foot dude and being like, you probably should not play goalie.
Now here's the thing.
Although as a goalie, that's probably freaky. Great
probably
footwork,
hard to get around.
7 feet tall. That is a freaky goalie.
Can move, lateral quickness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
them soccer checks ain't as small as y'all think they are. Them soccer checks is pretty nice.
Hey, no, listen, he might have shorted himself.
He might have shorted
himself. Let's be real. Them soccer checks be like, yeah, we'll sign you for $500 million.
Well, that's because there's a lot more money in there because those are countries.
Yeah, so it's a worldwide thing.
It's a world sport.
Yeah.
We just don't vibe with them like that.
He might have shorted himself, dog. He also found Pascal Siakam. I thought Luau was doing all this stuff, man. I'm giving Luau credit that he don't deserve. Because didn't Luau set up the league that maybe that's what it is. Luau set up the league they all play in.
Man.
Hey, let's talk about the elephant in the room when we mention these players. They found the sport 10 years ago, and then a lot of them come in and they work really, really hard and are the best in the league. Like, who could probably be really good, but he ain't getting no tick because he's playing behind his brother? The Nassas is probably can be really good. Like, I look at the Nassas like, I think he could be Julius Randle.
No, how big is the Nassas? The Nassas not that big.
6'9", is he?
I'm gonna need you to go look at the Nassas.
Is he that tall?
Yeah, he may not be 7'1".
No, Thanasis is 6'6". Is the one that's still on the team.
He's 6'6".
Thanasis is the one that's still on the team, right? The other one went back.
Yeah, but he looked like he should play football.
He's 6'6", 219.
That dude sprints up and down the court like it's going out. Like it looked like he's running from something.
219.
Yeah, Thanasis.
Good Lord, dog. You know what? The crazy part about all of it is like America getting washed in their own sport, dog.
And Giannis be rooting for his brother anytime he's playing trash minutes hard. I like
that.
He be rooting for him hard. I mean, standing up and everything. Blowout game. He's still out there rooting for his brother. I like that.
Hey, dog, we slowly getting beaten our own sport. The only thing that keeps us in the Olympics, I'm not going to lie to you, is the fact that most of the European players don't go back and play in the offseason. Giannis didn't play in the Olympics this year. Did Luka play in the Olympics? I don't think Luka played in the Olympics this year.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest though. I get what you're coming from. But Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, LeBron James, KD, James Harden,
they don't go no more.
I'm just saying, if we did it that way, like European
if they did a super team, yeah, it'd be different.
It's not going to work out the way you think it's going to work out. Like, I'm glad that you called on. I'm glad that you're playing the game. But hey, check this out. We still for the 40 club, you right? Like, let's not get this mistaken.
Luka did play. Who was on his team? Somebody was on Luka's team that we thought. No, Luka did play. Who was on his team? He used to be in the NBA. Buddy is like 47.
Luis Scola.
Scola's still playing?
He's still playing for the overseas team.
He was on Houston for a long time.
Hey, legitimately, me and Kid was like,
dude too. He should have cut his hair a long time ago.
Hey, me and Kid was talking about it, and we were like, man, Scola's son is getting busy. And somebody was like, that's not Scola's son. That's Luis Scola. I was like, he's got to be 50.
He's got about probably 40. Let's look him up. He
got to be almost 50. And he's still all right. He's swollen in a mug. Like he's built right now.
The Luis Scola we know with the long hair. That's not the same Scola on this team, dog.
Man, I don't know who that dude was, man.
Oh, hey, no. He's right. 41. He plays for Argentina.
Yeah.
He's right. He's right.
He's 41. Yeah, he's still.
So it was somebody else. It's not Luis Scola.
Now 42.
Then it was
It'll
somebody
be
else. It
42.
was somebody that was on Luca's team that me and Kid was like, yo, that can't be him. Like Skola's up there too. That's crazy. He was on Argentina. Who played for Argentina this year besides him? I don't know. I don't remember all that mess.
It's about to be U.S. versus Luca. Hey, guess what? I didn't want to see Luca get stomped out like that.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Hey, that was about to be like Tony Kukoc. That was about to be like Tony Kukoc if when Mike and Scotty saw him. Hey, I got him now. I got him now. I will say though, I want to give the rest of the world credit for one thing. I appreciate y'all for embarrassing us those first few games, because it made the rules change in the NBA. I fully believe that. I think Adam Silver saw that mess and was like, "Ugh."
Nah. Nocioni still playing? Wow.
Maybe it was Nocioni.
I'm gonna figure it out while we take this call.
Hey, we got to figure it out, man. Hey, listen, we do want to switch gears because listen, as we get to the 8 o'clock hour, first off, appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page if you guys have not done so. We do this every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Appreciate you for pulling up for the morning breeze. We want to bring on, but we do that. Well, before that, we do have to touch on the biggest game of the year here, being the Super Bowl that's happening on Sunday.
Super Sunday.
I don't know how I feel about this game. I don't know if I feel confident that it's going to be a great game, but calling in to give us insight into what the Bengals can do, we're going to go out to the phone lines here, and we're going to have Lucas Moore come on from 3 a.m. Coney podcast on Spotify to break down what the Bengals can do and what he's expecting to see in this Super Bowl, their first Super Bowl in a while.
For the record,
Lucas, how you feeling?
Well, I mean, the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, and I'm on a Chicago sports podcast getting to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals.
Boom.
So it's pretty good. You know, it's pretty good because the amount of podcast invites I get to talk about the Bengals, let me see, the amount before this week was 0. That's why I had to start. And this week it's you know, like 5 or 6. So things are going really, really well. Joe Burrow is making money / you know, making life fun for everybody that is involved with Cincinnati. But I actually record the podcast from the city of Chicago. So
okay.
You know, so I'm sitting here on the north side just talking to you. So same city, same 8 a.m. time, you know, type of thing. So,
oh man, I love it. I love it.
Cincinnati Bengals fan through and through though. I picked the worst time to move away from Cincinnati, didn't I?
Yeah, I must say it's a tough time to be away from the city. First thing, are you heading home for the Super Bowl?
No, I'm actually. I went to 4 or 5 regular season games. I go to the games I can afford. Okay, I'm not crazy. All right, the AFC Championship game tickets I stared at for a long time, and the Super Bowl's better on TV anyway. So I'm having my mom and dad come in. My dad's a huge Bengals fan. He's the reason I'm a Bengals fan. And the first football game my mom ever watched, because she was a natural born German.
Yeah.
First football game she ever watched was the last time the Bengals were in the Super Bowl. And now she's such a big football fan. I'm watching a game with her, and she's like, I swear, if they run the ball on first down one more time, I'm going to blow a gasket. And so it's just a nice full circle moment. And hopefully this night on Sunday ends better than that night did in 1989 for Cincinnati.
I think most of the country is probably pulling for you guys because unfortunately you guys seemingly are the clear underdog in this one to me. And I think to Vegas and a lot of the bettors here, based on that defensive line that's standing across from that man, the myth, the legend that is Joe Burrow. How do you think the Bengals are going to be able to negate the attack that's coming from Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and unfortunately I got to throw his name in there, but Leonard Floyd, on the other side, where he's got that defense has wreaked havoc on most teams this year at that line. How does the offensive line hold up? That has been shaky, not only just during the season, but also during the playoffs.
I don't think it holds up. I think hold up it's a relative term. Are they going to give up less than 2 sacks? And is Joe Burrow this is where we're at with the O-line in Cincinnati. And I've been on this since week 1. Everybody's been on it since week 1.
Yeah.
It was kind of an admitted flaw when you draft a player like Jamar Chase. You say, hey, when we do this, the line is not going to end up being as good as we could make it. And so this is something you've been dealing with all year. So I take that as a relative question of, can they do enough to win the game? Certainly. But enough to win the game with Joe Burrow, you could still take 6 sacks. He's not going to turn it over.
Yeah.
He could still create a lot of first downs on those drives that he takes sacks. I mean, he won a playoff game taking 9 sacks already.
Yeah.
If you go look at his record when he takes 4+ sacks, it's actually not bad in comparison to NFL history. So I think they're just going to do enough. I think they're going to have a plan for Aaron Donald. The Rams are one of the worst teams. They were one of the worst teams in the playoffs, about middle of the pack in the league in terms of defending screen passes, in terms of defending passes in short areas and rallying and making tackles. So there's a real game plan to be had here for Cincinnati with a quick passing game, with second down runs where you're running draws right by a rushing defensive line.
Right.
I think there's a way they can game plan around it. And Joe Burrow is good enough. The worry with that defensive line is that you get in Joe Burrow's head. But if the Tennessee game didn't rip his mental psyche off, I'm not sure anything will, because that was the biggest beating I've ever seen a player take. And the Bengals won the game.
Yeah.
I mean, we do all this analysis like, hey, that defensive line, gave up a lot of sacks against Tennessee. And I said, yeah, and they won.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point of this whole run for Cincinnati is I hear everybody make the argument for why they're going to win, and then they'll pick against them because the talent's not there.
Yeah.
And I just think I think the line can handle it. Is it going to be great? No. Or is Aaron Donald going to have a sack and flex moment? For sure. But I don't think it's going to be bad enough to keep the Bengals from winning.
I think, to me, the biggest key, based on how the Bengals have played defense all season, is Joe Mixon in his game. Of course, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, those guys are amazing. You're going to have Ramsey on Chase. Hopefully he can overcome that matchup. But to me, they sell out on the pass so often that the run is always going to be there. How big of an impact do you think Joe Mixon makes on this game on Sunday?
The problem with the offensive line is that the same people that tell me how bad the offensive line is in pass blocking want them to go out there and run block. and that's always we just run the ball. That'll protect Joe Burrow. No, when we run the ball on first down, it becomes second down and 9, and then you have to throw the ball. And this time, Aaron Donald knows you're throwing the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the Bengals have to avoid in this game. The Rams, after Jalen Ramsey, they can't guard anybody. They can't. After Jalen Ramsey, they can't guard anybody. You go look back at the elite quarterbacks they played this year,
yep,
or elite wide receivers. After Jalen Ramsey, they can't guard anybody. And T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, through 17 games, T. Higgins had 1,300 yards.
Yeah, I'm going to say they have receivers outside of just Jamar. They are a problem if they can block. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and I think that the quick passing game could be there, that if the Bengals are throwing early on first down, using the screen game as a running game, and you can use Mixon more. I think Mixon's more of a threat in that way. You get the offense rolling down the field. You get the Rams on their heels a little bit. You get the rush tired. You get a lead, and all of a sudden you have a serious advantage. But I think that takes throwing the ball on first down. That means taking advantage of the matchup while the Rams don't know what they're facing yet. And that's an element of this too. You remember the first time everybody played the Chiefs, their first time around with Mahomes?
Yeah.
It was like this first half factor where people be like, what is this?
Yeah.
I think Jamar Chase is a little bit of that. And I'm hearing the same things from the Rams camp that I heard from the Ravens camp and Marlon Humphrey back in week 7. Yeah, Marlon Humphrey got cooked for 250 yards in man coverage in that game. 250 in man coverage. And I love Jalen Ramsey. I think he's one of the best corners in the game. In fact, I think he's the best corner in the game.
Right.
But this idea that he's going to shadow Jamar Chase, and keep Jamar Chase on an island, it's a ridiculous idea. As a guy that's watched every Jamar snap this year, there is not a single player in this league that can play man coverage without safety help on Jamar Chase and have success throughout an entire football game. It won't happen. And if the Rams want to try it, that's going to lose them the game. That's going to lose them the game. The smart play is put Jalen Ramsey on T. Higgins, which is a better matchup for Jalen anyway, and then just double Jamar Chase. And then now you're daring Tyler Boyd to go out and have 120, 130-yard game. And I think that's a much better.
They can do it, though. I think
they haven't seen Jamar, so.
Well, you still got a good tight end. I mean, Uzomah's still playing, right? I mean, he's there, right?
I think Uzomah is Uzomah good to go? I know he had the injury during the game early versus the Chiefs. Is he going to be good to go as well?
Yeah, he'll be good to go. He at the fan pep rally, he ripped his knee brace off, threw it to midfield. I don't know. Would he play if it were week? Would he play if it were week 6? Maybe not. But it's a Super Bowl and he's going to play.
Yeah,
he's more important in the pass protection, more important in the chips and making sure that you can run stuff out of empty formations or 4 wide receiver sets, more so in the passing game. CJ Uzomah is the first guy in a very long line of players, guys, who you're at the start of the season, you guys won't know who he is.
Yeah.
And by the end of the season, you'll go, oh, he's pretty good. It's the same thing that happened with Tom and Peyton and all these great quarterbacks where they take this guy that should be a C player and he becomes a B+ player. And he has statistics that look, hey, it's 700 yards, a few touchdowns. This guy's pretty good. But he's really just a smart football player, and he's in the right spot all the time. Uzomah's he's not Gronk. He's not any elite. I honestly think he's probably like the 17th or 18th best receiving tight end in the league. But Joe makes him look great because he works in such an explosive offense. He'll be better for pass protection, and he's better for the energy of the team. I mean, he's almost the emotional leader at times with how much he's yelling and the speeches he does. He's like the team propagandist at this point, is what I call him.
Yeah. As you see, as we get closer to game day, defensively, how do you think these guys match up with the Rams? The Rams have just like Cincinnati has a ton of weapons. The Rams come through with a ton of weapons as well. But you do have a quarterback in Matthew Stafford that will give you an opportunity to take the lead in that game, to come away with a pick in that game or something, an opportunity that if the 49ers take, the Rams are not in this situation. Do you see Cincinnati being able to force those opportunities and take advantage of them?
Oh, without a doubt. I think that this is where the matchup is actually won. I'm frankly worried about the Bengals offense in this game. I've been worried about them the entire playoffs. I think they have a fatal flaw for this level of football at the offensive line because it's like the 30th ranked unit in the league.
Yeah.
And you don't even have Riley Reif, who is your average tackle you signed on the right side. So this game becomes a defensive game for the Bengals.
Right.
And what you notice, if you go through the Bengals schedule and expected points, the games that are big games, ones that require energy and focus, ones that are really easy to be energized and focused for, the Bengals defense has its best performances. Because it's a defense full of, hey, this guy's pretty good, but he's not great. Hey, this guy's pretty good, but he's not great. Hey, this guy's pretty good, but he's not great. And when you have a defense full of those guys, if you have energy, effort, and focus, you can become great as a unit. You can become an elite unit because everybody's doing their job. There aren't any donkeys. There's nobody that you're like, man, I can't leave him on an island. And that's what this Bengals defense has. And I think that's why it's a very underrated unit because of 406 yards to Mike White back against the Jets in week 8 because of the way it looked throughout the year. But if you look at the performances where, okay, hey, it's time to bow up. They're going to be focused. They're not going to miss tackles in the short area. They've had some serious success this season. And the Rams, I think they're an offense that are much better if they're able to run the ball. And I'm not sure they're going to be able to do that against Cincinnati.
But think about, we still have Matt Stafford on the other end who could turn the ball over.
and that's what
exactly.
I said. Yeah.
He could still, like, this could be a really sloppy game offensively for both. And then, but because both of them, I mean, well, I think Stafford could be more in trouble to turn the ball over than the Bengals quarterback.
Yeah,
than Burrow.
And
go
ahead. Go ahead,
I think
Lucas.
the biggest stat there from this, fellas, is you got to look at the left tackle versus best pass rusher matchup on both sides, right? Everybody's talking about the Bengals offensive line, but they've been dealing with it all year. The Rams like to leave Andrew Whitworth out on an island. You know, he had a great speech last night, Walter Payton Man of the Year. Andrew Whitworth, the former Cincinnati Bengal, trying to get his first ring against his former team.
Yeah.
The place he did so much charity in. We love him so much. But I think Andrew Whitworth's going to be the reason that the Rams lose this football game. Andrew Whitworth, 2 years ago, when he was 38 years old, faced Trey Hendrickson, the only time in his career that he's faced the Bengals' best pass rusher, and in my opinion, one of the best 3 pass rushers in the league.
Yep.
Trey Hendrickson, before his breakout season in New Orleans, so this was before he even broke out, got 4 pressures on Andrew Whitworth in one game. And this was 38-year-old Andrew Whitworth. And so you come into this game, and the style of pass rusher that Trey Hendrickson is, it's the type of pass rusher that gives Andrew Whitworth trouble. Guys that are going to bull rush you, guys that are going to blow you back, guys that have this relentless nature to them where it's snap after snap after snap after snap against this 40-year-old. And I just think that's the matchup that the Bengals can seriously exploit. And I don't trust Matthew Stafford to handle 6 sacks like you guys were saying, as much as I trust Joe Burrow to handle 6 sacks.
Yeah.
And I think that if you can get to Matthew Stafford 5 or 6 times, that to me is 2 or 3 turnovers. And
So
2
wait
or
a minute.
3 turnovers wins you the football game.
So wait a minute. Are you saying that they might scheme with having a 40-year-old left tackle to protect their quarterback against a premier defensive end, like in Chicago?
I think the Rams are cocky, guys.
Like in Chicago.
The Rams are feeling this.
I mean, have we not seen this? You think they might be smart enough to scheme to help compensate for a 40-year-old left tackle against a premier defensive end? I would hope they do that. That's interesting.
You had to bring
This
that
is the
Bears
thing,
connect
though,
in there,
guys.
huh?
It's just interesting about coaching and what makes sense, So I just
It's why they're in the Super Bowl and we're like 6 and 13.
and we're at home and I have to put on my hat because that's all I can do is support Chicago from home.
That's all you can do.
That's all I can do.
It's tough over here for Bears fans, Lucas. We hope to be you. We hope to be you, man. We've got Lucas Moron from the 3 a.m. Coney. Listen, Lucas, what was the turning point for you guys this season? Right out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? Like the Bengals lost to us, where we were feeling good. Like, hey, we beat the Bengals. Okay, that's a good win right there. All right. What was the turning point for the Bengals this season that gets them to this point?
Yeah, I think it's week 4 against Jacksonville. I was actually at that Bears game, and it was one of the funniest experiences ever because you guys were this close to talking some serious smack to my buddy and I. And then the game flipped on its head, and we nearly won at the end. We nearly got the ball back to go and win. And it was just quiet out of the stadium. It's like both fan bases were like, well, that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the saddest days of the year because I live in the city and Joe throws interceptions on 3 straight passes. Still the only game in his career at any level he's thrown 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
The biggest game of the year was the Jacksonville game. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was the only primetime game of the Bengals season, the only one on any of the networks. It was Thursday Night Football. It was Urban Meyer and the Jaguars at 0-3. It was the Bengals at 2-1. Bengals down 14-0 at halftime because they allow 130 yards on the ground to Jacksonville in the first half. Trevor Lawrence looks like he's the number 1 pick. It looks great. And Joe Burrow comes out in the second half and he scores on every drive and doesn't score a touchdown on the last drive because he runs the clock out and has the game-winning field goal go through the uprights, 24-21. That same night, the Bengals opened their Ring of Honor. They had never honored players in their past before until this season. And so at halftime of that game, you're down 14-0 to Jacksonville. The fans boo you off the field, but then they do the Ring of Honor, a thing that fans have been begging for 15 years. And then Joe Burrow walks out and has a perfect half. And that's the game on NFL Films. He said, this is BS. Time for me to take over.
Yeah.
Put it in my hands. It's over. Right? That's the day that it was Joe Burrow versus the Bengals. And that's the day that Joe Burrow fully took over the culture, the organization, the fan base, everybody. because we all drove out of that stadium. I remember my buddy Max, we're driving back to Chicago. He looks at me and goes, "We're going to win the Super Bowl." I wasn't there yet, fellas. Not at all. But he looked at me, "We're going to win the Super Bowl." So that night is really the night that I think the organization changed. And that's a night I'm going to look back to as a night that I feel like the Joe Burrow effect fully took hold in Cincinnati.
Hey, listen, your friend's confident is a game versus Jacksonville where you were down. That in Chicago, we would not have felt that good about that. Like, relax, guys, it's Jacksonville. Lucas, we appreciate you for coming on the show, man. We appreciate you for tuning in. I'm rooting for Cincy. I think the Rams are going to win, but I'm rooting for Cincy. I'm going with my heart on this one. I want to see Joey B get that ring, man, and I hope that you're celebrating a Super Bowl championship by the end of this thing. Let the people know where they can find you, where they can find your podcast, and how often you post, man.
We post, well, right now it's a little more frequently, but expect about once a week, sometimes twice a week. Depends on the schedule. Just the 3 a.m. Coney on Spotify. If you want to hear me, if I've annoyed anybody here, just go there after we lose the Super Bowl. I feel like that would be a fun listen for you, right? To hear me sad if I've annoyed anybody. But, just thanks so much for having me on, guys. It's the 3 a.m. Coney on Spotify. We're floating. We're existing in a dream world, and it'll become very, very real once the snap finally happens and we're off and rolling in the first quarter.
Hey, man, if the Bengals win it, we'd love to have you on next week to talk about your dub, man.
Yeah, just let me know anytime, guys. Anytime.
For sure. Have a good one, man.
Take care, man.
You too. Bye.
It was Lucas Moore from the 3 a.m. Coney. Really appreciate him for tuning in and calling into the show, man. Listen, there's a lot there he said that I would say I can agree with. I don't know if Tyler Boyd is the one you want to put the dub on. But I will say this. I think that both teams have a ton of weapons. Both teams come into this game offensively, at least, stout. But more times than not in the Super Bowl, the team with the better defense, as long as you've got that offense, is going to come away with the dub. To me, that's the Rams. Now, I will say Joe Burrow is kind of proven to be a Andrew Luck kind of player. Not play-wise, but how he takes these sacks, which is a tough term in itself. But, I mean, we're talking about a guy that took 9 sacks and absolutely kept his team in the game. We're talking about a guy who continually gets hit and gets up and gets better.
Man, skip all the stuff. Is they stopping the Rams or not? Like, we could talk about what they gonna do on offense. Let's talk about what we gonna do on offense. Like, real talk, you still gotta stop what's rolling over here too. And Matt Statty coming for this. I'm not trying to hear nothing else about nah. Listen, Stafford's gonna have a long career. He's gonna probably be the face of the league. But right now, Matt Stafford's getting this dub.
Matt Stafford,
I don't know about
San Francisco can hold on to one god awful pass is not in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think. I think
Matt Stafford absolutely can play you out of this game.
You know about the problem about the if game though? The if game is if Patrick Mahomes didn't decide to take a nap in the second half, Joe Burrow wouldn't be here. Like, come on now, we can play the if game with a lot of stuff. But it didn't happen. We're in the Super Bowl right now. So right now, you got to stop this. What's happening right here? I don't care about what else happened.
It doesn't mean he didn't have a sloppy game.
We're here now.
Yeah, but the point is that Stafford could end up losing the game. That's the whole thing. Like, Burrow could probably win it as much as it's set up for Stafford to win it. He could lose it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do. I think that there's a lot of on paper, the Rams are the better team. Defensively, you got Aaron Donald, you got Leonard Floyd, you got Jalen Ramsey, you got Von Miller. They're going to be in the backfield. If there's a number on the sack that's not 11, take the over. If it's anything under 11, take the over. I think Joe Burrow is going to have the longest day of his life. Now, here's the thing. I'm rooting for the Bengals. I want to see the Bengals win this month. But I think that the Bengals are absolutely going to get roughshod run on them. But the difference there is that, is it roughshod where he's taking sacks, but he's not turning the ball over. They end up punting it away. Then can Matthew Stafford capitalize on it?
Man, listen. The
You know
whole
what I'm saying?
tough guy, get up and stay in the fight and all that stuff. That's good. QBs who take hits like that don't live long careers. Ask Andrew Luck. It don't work out that way, right? So
They're
at
gonna
this
work
point,
on it, though.
hey, at this point, a couple of things are going to happen. First of all, it's the Super Bowl.
Hey, Andrew Luck just retired. Andrew Luck a wild boy.
No, Andrew Luck was going to get killed if he would retire. How about that?
No,
Because
now they got the offensive line to protect him.
Yeah, I still wouldn't trust it.
He went through all the bad years of like no protection, and then they drafted an entire offensive line to put in front of him, and he was like, "Nah, I'm done."
Nah. You know what? That's called PTSD. Hey, Ben Simmons, that's what mental health looks like right there. I wouldn't do that right there, right? That's what real issues look like right there.
The week before the season.
Hey, no matter what we say about Matthew Stafford, it's still Aaron Donald's opportunity to get a ring. Yeah. It's still Von Miller's to get another ring. Yeah. Like, it's a lot of people on that defensive end is like, yo, we may not make it back here. You have to go.
Hey, because they're not going to be able to pay nobody.
Hey, exactly. You have to go. This is the shot. We took a shot. We got to go. So if y'all think that that's not enough, like we keep saying, and that's not just y'all, but the media is holding Joe Burrow and this whole underdog thing. Or not the underdog, look like the moxie and all that stuff. I don't care. At the end of the day, there's another set of people on the other side who realize we may not make it back here.
Hey, I'll say this. The reason they're doing that, though, is because at every level, he's been that same dude, and it's worked. Now, it may not in the NFL. NFL is a different beast, but he's been the Joe smoking cigars, and maybe not in high school, but he's been the Joe smoking, maybe in high school, cigarillos in high school. He's been the Joe smoking cigars after a dub when he was doubted his entire career. Heck, then what was that, LSU?
Yeah.
They weren't projected to do what they did, and then Joe Burrow went out there and dominated them mugs. And it's one of those where, like, okay, at the NFL level, things are different. Just like with Justin Fields, at the NFL level, things are different. But with Joe, it looked a lot like what we've seen, dog.
Hey, this is also Matt Stafford with his entire NFL career on the line. I'm supposed to sit there and say, hey, well, not entire NFL career, but his legacy is on the line. Like Matt Stafford had the excuse, hey, you're in Detroit. You're coming from Detroit. We don't hold it against you. And you did pretty good in Detroit with nothing around you, right?
Yeah. And he broke his back.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite highlight in Detroit of him is him throwing the game-winning touchdown versus the Vikings, I think it was. And his shoulder
was his rookie season when he couldn't feel his arm after that.
No, I don't think that was his rookie year. I think he had been in the league for a little while after that. But he had dislocated his shoulder. He dislocated his shoulder and his throwing arm, popped it back in, went back out there, was like, get the f*** out of my way. I can throw. Threw the ball, threw the game-winning touchdown, shoulder popped back out. His teammates come over running to him. They're like, good throw. He's like, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Yeah, I do remember that, yes.
That guy, so guess what? That guy's on the other end. We're going to have a good game.
Hopefully it turns into...
It was his rookie year.
Maybe some scoring. We get to see a high-scoring game, but...
And listen, I hope that we just see a competitive game. That's all I hope for. I hate watching a Super Bowl like when Peyton was 50 touchdown, Peyton Manning. He's coming in. They've got the high-flying offense. They're going to kill the Legion of Boom. It's going to go best offense, best defense. That man put up, 6 points?
10-6.
No, it was like 50-3 at the half.
No, I'm saying like if we don't want to see a situation where there's no, all this. We got offensive capabilities, and you're barely getting anything.
I would rather see a 10-6 game than a blowout. Because at least in a 10-6 game, you're thinking maybe it's a competitive 10-6 game. Like the defense is actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, and there's just some stops in there. I would rather see that than a blowout. Because a blowout just isn't entertaining. Like when I know by and Tom Brady ain't in this game. So when I know by halftime the game is over, it's like, all right, well, now I'm finna
Tom Brady in this game, but they're still an elite defense. If you're 2 touchdowns up by halftime, that could absolutely change by the fourth quarter.
I'll be right back.
All right, my boy. Yeah, but
absolutely change by the fourth quarter.
You got him. All right, Bob. Yeah, but no, 2 touchdowns is fine.
That's 14 points.
The Patriots for 4 touchdowns. hey, you need Tom Brady for 4 touchdowns. Hey, we can say what we want. You need Tom Brady for 4 touchdowns.
That's a fact.
It ain't nobody in this game that's coming back for 4 touchdowns now.
He does it. He's done it twice. Once in the Super Bowl. Hey, how you retire coming back down, coming from the same deficit that you did before your last ring?
Oh,
that's a legendary career right there.
That tweet was priceless. I bet you Matty Ice don't blow a 28-3 lead. Immediately, Brady. Hey, it's like you sent the tweet to Tom. It's like you sent the tweet to Tom.
He didn't blow the lead though.
Immediately. After
it did happen immediately. Hey, it's Tom impressive. Brady. It was like mad impressive.
Hey, Tom.
But he didn't do it.
Dog, I'm not gonna lie to you. At that point, I had picked the Buccaneers to win the game anyway. But at that point, I wanted the Buccaneers to win the game for one reason and one reason alone. So that tweet could be 3 times as funny. Dog, that mess had me crying. He said, "Ain't no way Tom Brady or ain't no way Matty Ice gonna blow a 28-3 lead." And as I looked up from the phone, Brady was lofting that mug to Mike Evans for a touchdown. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be priceless."
Hey Pat, screw you.
He ain't blow a lead. It was tied.
Hey, listen. Not only did I make the tweet, I was so confident I walked away. Now, mind you, I wasn't sweating, but I'm gonna let you. This is the honest to God truth. When I saw that they caught up, my first thought was, okay, who has the ball?
Yeah.
And initially, I thought Tom had the ball. And in my mind, I was like, this dude. In my mind, I did. But then I checked it, and Matt had the ball. I was like, oh, no, we got this. So I wasn't sweating. But if Tom had that ball, boy, I would have deleted the tweet.
I would have did something.
I would have to screenshot it and catch it. I would have did something. I would have did something. I would have said I was hacked. I would have made up something.
I was hacked.
Dog, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Right. You're not gonna sit there and have that live in infamy with me. Nope.
Fam, it's still on the computer. It didn't matter, but that joint was priceless. That man said, "I bet you Matty Ice don't blow a 28-3 lead." Loft. What the?
In fact, I would have absolutely met up with you. But hey, let me see something, my boy. Deleted the group text.
Ringo did send it to the group chat too.
I would have did all that.
Oh man, dog. But yeah, man. I all right. Let's give our picks here, man. We had 8:30, man. Break it down is the super producer Joel Holt entering the building again.
2 minutes away.
Here you go.
Hey,
and when he got food to eat on the show.
What are you talking about?
You said what?
Nothing at all.
All right, that was random.
What happened?
I don't know. Something happened with Kid. I don't know. Who we got winning the Super Bowl by how much? What's the prediction for today or for Sunday's game?
I want the Bengals to win, but I think it's 24-21 Rams.
24-21. That's a nice game. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Shoot, I got 34. I got 34-21. Statty way.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. I got 35-17.
Now here's what I'm gonna say though. This is
35-17 Rams.
Y'all ready? Check this out. If Jalen Ramsey get torched by Jamar Chase,
Oh, I
On
fully
God.
expect it.
No, dog. You can't be the guy who sits there, goes out, and says you want the smoke, get the smoke, get beat by this kid in his first year in the Super Bowl.
I think this kid is
He's
that
a
good.
rookie in the Super Bowl. If he outduels you, and you've been waiting for this opportunity this entire time, you're a professional longer than he's been a professional. Jalen Ramsey's been, how long he been in the league? 9 years?
Something like that. He was down in Jayville. He was down and he been in there for a while, yeah.
No. Y'all don't understand. Matt Stafford could take this L, and it would be really sad. But if they take this L and he got burnt every possession, that he's never gonna recover from that.
Well, this is the thing, right?
How you gonna be like, he just had a good day? How you let somebody have a good day on the Super Bowl?
No, it's not. To me, it's not. If he get burnt, that's a different thing. If it's back and forth, that's the thing. Let's keep it in perspective. If it's like, Jamar Chase gets a big catch, but Jalen Ramsey knocks away 3 balls. That's a back and forth game.
I don't think Jamar Chase goes off. I think that they're going to try to bracket coverage him, and I think that he's going to be more of a decoy. They're going to try to phase him out. So I don't see.
I think they don't. I don't think the Bengals have that option, because there's a lot of times where, like, as much as Boyd and Higgins make an impact, when
When you shut down Jamar.
No, when Joe Burrow has time to look past Jamar.
I'm just saying, like, I think that
like they're option 2 and 3. If you can't get to option 2, it doesn't matter what he does. Let's be real. A lot of times with option 1, Joe Burrow told you. A lot of times with option 1, he says, I throw it to a spot because I'm assuming Jamar's going to be there. You know what that means? I didn't have time to see if he's going to get there.
What were you saying, Jay?
I'm saying Jamar Chase is not going to have like 200 yards receiving. I think it's like 75 yards. He's going to have to work for it. That's all I'm saying. Like, he's not going to just dominate the game.
No. I agree with you. I think the Bengals are going to struggle in this game. I want the Bengals to win. You know what I'm saying? I'm going in there. I'm like, I'm rooting for them to get the dub here. I don't think they're going to cats making pancakes upstairs.
It just sounds like somebody really large is walking. It was like, hold on now.
I didn't tell you Coda was pulling up this week, but
I'm gonna end up buying a key to watch just because every time Pat's dog growls at me every single time. No, not this last time. Since you moved, he's actually been cool. But since you moved, it's like he's like, oh, new house and everything like that. Welcome in. He opened the door for me. Like,
Hey, what Richard Pryor say? He said about the Doberman pension. They let you in the house. They let you do whatever you want, and then as soon as you go to touch
leave, I'm going to eat you. Like, no, you can't leave. He's like, do you see me smiling, mother?
Dog, that's definitely Coda. I ain't gonna lie to you. One of my brother-in-laws came over, dog, and he kind of like he a hood kind of person, and he was like, Coda was between the glass, and he was like trying to look Coda. He was like, "Oh, this is such a cool dog," and Coda was just looking at him, just
Akitas are the type of dog.
The problem is when he left, I told Coda, I was like, "Good dog." Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. Listen, he my brother-in-law. I love him, but them the kind of dudes I don't want in my house all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
those dogs.
If you see that kind of guy, do what you did.
It only makes sense to own them because they are terrible for everybody else. I grew up. My best friend growing up had an Akita. I mean, I couldn't sit next to his sister, who I used to like, and that dog would growl at me. I mean, like,
that's why he growled at you, because he knew you was trying to get in.
Period. Them Akitas, I'm like, I don't even fool with those dogs. You either have to own them.
No, he was like, no. Someone's here trying to dick around. Nope.
Yes, he hated on me. That dog hated on me. I couldn't wrestle with his little brother. I was like, none of it.
You got blocked by a pet.
I did.
You got blocked by a pet.
You know what it is? Coda is a great dog to have, but if you want him to be sociable with the world, it's never going to happen. But you got to understand that.
Yeah, they're loyal to you. If you had that dog,
but the thing is, legitimately, if you came around all the time, like, kids just ain't here enough. AD come here, It's been times where I didn't let AD in the house. I ain't paid no attention to him. I'd be like, I left the side door open for you.
Yo, the dog. Yo, the dog.
Hey, but it's just about can you how often he see you and how often he see me interact with you. Because there's been times AD walked in here and I'd be like, how the heck you get down here? He'd be like,
First off, I ain't never doing that.
You did it already.
No. I did do it.
You
I was
did it at
actually
the old house.
No. I was drinking that day.
It don't matter. You did it already.
I did it already, but I was drinking that day. When I sobered up, I realized I just walked past this 200-pound dog that growled at me every time. I was feeling myself way too much because he would attack me. I had nothing for him. I had nothing for him. Nah, I'm not finna. Nah. It's all love though. Hey, it's all love. I'm actually gonna. You know what? The kids don't know this. I think they left for school already. I'm actually looking to get a husky. I'm trying to find one, and there's one like 50 miles away that I'm trying to get. I've always wanted a husky.
For some reason, I've developed an allergy to dogs because I was ready. Eventually, what I love are the English Bulldog and an American Bully. I wanted 2 of them. But other than that, I'm over the whole dog hair, like dander, all that stuff. So I can't even fool with them.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm going to tell you right now, you get a husky, prepare to be sweeping the floor every day. They say they shed twice a year. Lies.
But I heard that's if you don't brush them like every other day.
Hey,
listen, you got to keep up the grooming.
I brush Coda all the time. I brush Coda to the point his coat always look good down there. Yeah. He gonna shed.
Anyways, let's get back to the football game.
Hey, let's get back to the football
here with the dog.
Hey, Jay Money, you on a podcast, brother? You don't realize that we about to take these off these random off-putting subjects gonna come up? Like people gonna be like, this is supposed to be a Bulls thing.
Jay ain't been on here.
This is whatever we want it to be.
Me and Kid to have full 30-minute conversations on I don't even know some of the stuff we had conversations on.
And we had a conversation about something so weird, the views went up.
For the record, guys, I do like dogs. I do like dogs. I just for some reason developed in the last few years. I was shocked. Like I have an allergy to them now, but I never had allergies. But
you know what you're allergic to? How much it costs for that dog food every week?
Hey, on the low, you know what you look like, Joe? You look like you have a cat, and you'll be like, what's my man? Dag, I had the name right there.
Dr. Evil?
Not Dr. Evil.
Well, for the
Bond
record,
movies?
Superman's villain.
Lex Luthor?
Dog, I swear you put on a green suit right now with a tie and have a cat. You either be Dr. Doom or Lex Luthor.
For the record, I did have cats. I actually had a British short hair. But
I like cats.
Yeah. I love cats because they're very self-sufficient. But I'm over all of the cat dander, dog pet dander, all that stuff. I'm done with having pets. I have fish now.
Cats
I'm a fish guy now. I got saltwater fish.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Only thing I like
I gotta come check it out. You got the tank up?
Tank is up. I got and actually I'm gonna get the big boy tank pretty soon because I want a dog face puffer. But
you were at his house with me.
Yeah, that tank was up when he was at the house.
The tank was there.
Yeah, and no fish.
Yeah,
yes, he did.
Oh yeah, you did.
I lost both my clowns though. They just died.
Hey, listen, this is my thing.
Trying to hide behind the mic like I'm not on TV, really.
Hey, look, I'm a cat. I like cats. The only thing I don't like about cats is that in their mind, like to me, cats are closer to their wilder instincts. Like you could leave a cat outside and he would absolutely survive. So like cats be doing little bitty stuff to people, and I be like, that cat's thinking like, if I was just 100 more pounds, I'd kill you right now. Like I feel like cats just do stuff out of like, I'm just not strong enough to do it. Fan, legit. I spent the night when I was a shorty. I spent the night in my homie crib. I wake up middle of the night. His cat is on my chest, just massaging, just right here on the throat.
I love cats.
Just
They
softly,
purr.
like just petting at it.
And they think it's so cute, but they're really trying to suffocate you.
No, dog. I said, I know this cat is thinking if I had thumbs right now, you'd be dead.
When I was a kid, when we lived in the city, we had cats growing up. So I was very small, and I could remember, like as a child, having a cat that would sit there on your chest and purr. Like I always thought that was an amazing feeling. I love that, and I always liked cats just for that sense of I always thought cats were nice. I never really grew up with the whole mean cat situation like that.
Never had the mean cat situation.
But then when we were kids too, we used to terrorize them, so we never understood why they all like ran away over time. Because after we got bigger, we throwing them in a box down the stairs. We doing all kind of crazy stuff.
Okay, Pat, I mean, you can't say that on the.
Probably shouldn't say that on the pod, no.
I was like 6, 7.
He said too much. We told him he could say whatever he wanted.
Moving back to the sports. Peter's about to sit there and say, "You did what?"
hey,
Mike
like Davidson, that's a fact though. He said cats will steal off you while you napping. I'm telling you, I watched my homie get stuck. It was the funniest thing in the world because the cat was taking his time with it, making sure he didn't wake up. I'm talking about he was sitting on top of the couch, just looking at him like, yeah, remember you didn't put that food in my dish right there? Yeah, wake up.
That happened to us. So like, because allegedly we may have did some things to those cats. I remember we would be like, me and my brothers, we'd be like exploring, and because we're all small, we can go underneath the couch.
He said allegedly.
Allegedly, the things that we did to them.
You caught that too, huh?
And so why were we like the Jungle Book going through under the couch and we're doing whatever? And the cat came around like Shere Khan and was like, "Yeah, remember that stuff we did?" And he straight flexed on us. And we like, back up. We try like get back up. The cat came at us like, ah. Yeah, they remember. They don't forget.
Duh. When Coda was like 6 months old, we had a cat in the neighborhood named Mango. Mango was lit. You give him a little food, he stick around, keep the field mice out of your yard. It was great. So I let Coda out front, just like letting that mug out. But Mango, see, this is the thing. Coda is a big dog. Coda is if he snap at you, he can do some damage. But Coda is a pet store dog. He is like a suburban kid. He is not that tough. So like Lulu was like, she was born on the street. She was like raised in the hills of Kentucky. She was snatching birds out the sky. She is from the hood.
They don't know who Lulu is.
That's my other dog. So this the thing. So Coda is a pet store dog. Mango was an alley cat.
Yeah.
So I let Coda outside. He see cat. So he thinking, oh, we got real beef out here. Let's go. He get the back ready to go. I'm talking about he run outside. I didn't see Mango. I'm like, oh, snap. They finna get into it. Fam, Mango threw that back up and was like, it's whatever you want to be. Hey, Coda said,
cats don't be running like people think they do.
Hey, has anyone seen that Tony Baker clip where the cat's walking behind the mom and the girl, and all of a sudden he does a judo flip out of nowhere, and like he's like,
fam, cats are just
skibbity pats.
Skibbity pats. No, shout out Tony Baker, man. We'd love to have him on the show, man. I really want to get Tony Baker on the show, man. He's really one of my favorite comedians. But dog, fam, like just seeing that Coda had to be 80 pounds at this point. Mango was all of like 15, but it was the fear that he put into Coda as he was like, it's whatever you want to do, my boy. Just know this not gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. Coda ran back inside so fast.
Hey, Coda made an executive decision.
Hey. Speaking of the cat, shout out to
go back in the house.
Shout out to Chicago Garza. Speaking of the cat conversation, Bengals by 10.
See, but the way that it's shaped up, though, we talking about the Rams. Have y'all ever saw how they like what they do for fun?
Cram.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
Cram.
All day. Like, first of all, in this whole creation thing, I always want to ask, why?
Yeah.
Like, that's a design right there. Like, what was you thinking when you was like, boom, let them do that all day? I'm like, that's some aggression that you just created.
This is what you think. Hey, you think they doing it for fun. What you don't know is Rams are just Spartan warriors. They're training their entire lives for the moment where I got to smash that herd of females over there. So I got to fight this dude right here. Let's get it busting.
Well, I tell you what, right now, it's looking like I'm expecting the Rams to do exactly that to the Bengals. Because if that don't happen, I'm gonna just stop. I'm turning into Charles Barkley. I guarantee I'm gonna get the button.
It's
Where's the button?
Skibbity Paps versus Cram.
That's what it is. I'm gonna get the button. I'm gonna get the guarantee button.
Skibbity Pips.
It's Skibbity Paps versus Cram. That's great. That is a great comment, Mike Davidson. I'm gonna send that to Tony, man. I don't know if he be seeing. I think Tony be seeing my stuff. I think Tony be ignoring me. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's probably because Joel on the show. He think they're the same person. But
First off, you don't realize Joe knows everybody.
Me? No, that's not true.
Joe knows everybody.
How is
If
that?
he don't know everybody, he knows somebody that knows everybody.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Look at him
that.
trying to be bashful about it.
I don't know what that. Hey, you know, I appreciate it. That's what
Yeah,
you
okay. So we went to get
Hey.
Tony Baker. He'd be like, you know what? I did a party for a person who know that person.
That's
Like,
not true.
damn, you know what?
Hey,
Don't
He right
say
there.
nah,
He right
you know what,
there.
Joe? You know what it be? Joe be like, I DJ'd a party and Tony Baker girl was there, and then Tony showed up. And next thing I know, we all chopping it up. Then my girl showed up. And next thing you know, now Tony Baker's at the crib. We doing tequila shots at 2 a.m. Be like, Joe, there's a lot of distance in between that story, dog. Like,
That's not. Why are y'all
You know what
making
the
this
funny
stuff
thing
up?
is? He probably really got stories like that.
he really got stories like this, dog.
I mean, now when you say that, I do have some stories, but that's not one of them.
Hey, but you know what it is? When Joe tell a story about somebody, he'll skip big chunks of it that be like, you be like, fam, so y'all just went from there to there? It's like, oh, well, there was some stops in between.
It's uninteresting to him. Like, he
about?
don't think it's interesting. It's like, yeah, that's not an interesting story right there. But it's like, you know what? No, it is interesting. How the heck did you go from here to here? Like,
What are you talking? Hey,
Joe be like, so I was DJing this party, and then Lil
I'm
Wayne was
listening,
at the
dude.
house.
These guys don't know what they're talking about. Stop. Now you act like I don't tell full stories and be missing parts. Jeez.
no,
Be
you had
surprised,
ADHD
Mr.
growing up, didn't you?
It'd
No,
be
I
some
did
parts missing
not.
from the story, Joe.
You did.
What story? Okay, what story are you talking about? So we can clarify. What are you talking about?
We don't want
I
to put
don't
your
know,
personal
Joe.
business.
No.
out there.
No.
We just
Yeah,
want-
yeah.
No. You don't sit there and put me on everybody else and say I didn't tell the whole. Give me what's the context? What story did you feel like I
I
missed
can't do
about?
that without giving it too much information, and I don't want to put your personal business out there. So guess what? It's all good, baby.
Y'all
It's just a
making up
joke.
some- Don't
You
listen to
still
these guys.
super duper.
Do not listen to these.
Hey, I'll
Hey,
do
you
it.
still Lex Luthor.
Hey, I'll do it. So Keisha on 75th
Pat, we
was
got 8 minutes. We got 8 minutes. Don't do it. We got 8 minutes. How y'all feel about the NBA All-Star game and how they pick it? How about that?
So
You see the
Keisha was on
segue?
75th.
Boom.
man.
Because what's gonna happen is we gonna argue like we would in the group chat on live, and people see this. So no, we gonna go that way.
See, y'all got these. Y'all making up stuff, man. Whatever. I'm
He
making these
said
sunflowers.
Joel is the other
I
Murphy
still made.
brother
I made
for
you
the
look
Chappelle
good. At least I
show.
made up a good story if it's made up.
But you make it sound like I don't tell full stories now. Like, what are you talking
No,
about?
hold on, wait. We made you look good. We made you. Hey, listen. We said, hey, you're
I
super.
said you be
producer.
hanging
We
with
gave you a
famous people.
mystique. Like he be in front of people like super famous people, and then all of a sudden they be like, hey, it's Joe. And it's like, yo, how did that happen? I was here, did this, boom, we ended up here, and then bam, we know each other. It's like, dog, that is happened real quick for them to be on a first name basis with you.
Hey,
I'm just
what
letting
y'all
you
don't know is, first off, I told y'all, Joe, we don't know if he's 25 or 107. Yeah. Hey,
promise you,
if you look in the back, you remember that picture where Michael Jackson walking in full entourage, you see Madonna like tucked in the corner. Look just to the left. It's Joe.
Shut up. You guys
Like,
are
just to the
hilarious.
left.
real
Just
went
Joe.
to the same Lazarus pit, and they just been existing this entire time.
Hey, fam, him and Pharrell, dog. Pharrell out
I
here, dog. I'm
appreciate-
telling
you
you,
know what, I
I'm not gonna
appreciate
lie to you. There's nothing that there is no more timeless creature than a bald black man.
Wait, what?
Because you don't know how old he is. You don't know how old it's like a tree with rings. You just got
I'll take it, man. I know our family
has
definitely
that
has
tree
some
been there for
longevity.
10 years or 5,000? We don't know.
All right, dog. All right, no, seriously. Bulls talk, NBA talk. We going back here.
No, we
Real
gonna get back
quick.
into sports for this last.
We saw the whole thing.
5 minutes. Hey,
I had a chance to listen to. First of all, a lot of athletes are getting into podcasting and stuff like that, and I really appreciate it because you get a chance to hear their side of the story and get to hear a lot of stuff that you normally wouldn't. So KD was on his show, the Boardroom, whatever. Shout out to them, and he was like, "You know what would be real cold if we could pick it like schoolyard." Like everybody, like we pick the people on our team at the game.
Yeah, that's dope.
So everybody they just make 2 jerseys, a black one or a white one with that person's name, and they get picked
Or you
at
all
the
just
game.
wear your own jersey, like we used
Or
to.
they could do that, but still, you still have to bring 2 because if you get picked on one team, you have to wear your away jersey. You have to pick on that team, you have to wear your home jersey.
Nah, it was like a specific All-Star one, wasn't it?
What? You still have to pick 2.
Yeah, I
You
guess
still have
so.
to bring
Right.
2.
Yeah.
But still, like I thought that was cold because it was like it's almost like you really playing a pickup game.
Yeah.
It ain't premeditated, and nobody know where they're going, and you just pick it right then and there. So
Hey,
imagine
it would have
what
made it so
happened.
much worse.
Exactly. Imagine if that happened right then and there, and then we get down to James Harden, Rudy Gobert.
Oh, that's why they won't do it. Somebody got to get picked last. That's why they won't do
a
it.
big thing. But
But you get picked last regardless.
But you
dumb.
get picked last with that look on the camera of like, did these mugs really just pick me last?
Yeah, but that's so stupid. Because it's like you're clearly one of the top echelon of players that's getting picked.
Hey, that's what was killing me last night during TNT. Hey, they like, that's a good pick. I'm like, they're the all-stars.
They're all good picks.
They're all good picks. What are we talking about? Shaq kept saying that. He was like, hey, I like that pick. That's a good pick. Hey, by the way, Shaq was like trying to tell Muggs what to do, who to pick. And then like they would always not pick the person he said. And then he'd be like, that's a good pick. I like that pick right there. Because he literally was like, what'd he say? He said, hey KD, you need to go get Trae Young. Go back and forth with Steph Curry. KD absolutely was like, let me get Zach LaVine. That's a good pick. I like that pick. What? That's not the pick you had in mind at all, dog. Nah, man. I like how the All-Star format is now. I like I wouldn't mind that. Are they still doing the scoring the same?
I don't know.
I don't even remember what the scoring was.
I like how they did it. What was it,
like
2 years
back
ago?
And forth thing
where you play like Big Three, like you play to a certain score and then that's the half, and then you play to a certain score and that's how the game is. I love that. And you got to win by 2.
Oh, okay, I thought it was like kind of like you had to win by 2 or something.
You got to win by
like
2 buckets or something. I love
it. 3 quarters get added up, and then whoever gets to, let's say the score is 160 and you score 45 in each one. And, realistically, you only have to score 25 points in the fourth quarter to win.
Yeah.
So.
The fourth quarter was like, you have to get to that amount of score.
I don't like that.
That's the part I don't like.
I liked it because it made it more competitive to me. You saw them mugs going back and forth with it.
I just feel I like the whole you got to be up and win by X amount of points because that's how we all grew up playing, right?
Well, it is. So what happened was they ended up playing longer because they were within 2 points. Mm-hmm. So I think you had to win by like 5 or something like that. So it was first person to get up 5, or something like that. But they ended up playing like they got to 160, but the final score ended up being like 175, 170, 170, something like that, because you had to go up by more than 2 buckets. So they kept going back and forth. So it was dope. I like that format.
Yeah.
How y'all feel about the fact that the 2 captains are on the worst teams technically in their conference? Like they're both technically 8th and 9th seeds right now.
Yeah, it's politics. Nobody cares.
It is.
It's the fans. The thing is, stop letting
they're the most voted though, right? They're the most voted.
Right. The fans decide. I mean, I think
the
coaches.
I feel the same way about it that I feel about Trae Young starting over Zach LaVine. Like, yeah, I'm saying Zach LaVine.
How do you feel about that? Trae Young starting over Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine should have been the starter, but it's a fan voted thing. So
but Jay like Trae Young.
I do. He's cool.
I thought you did.
Hey, on that note, man, we appreciate y'all for pulling up for another morning.
I thought you were Trae. No, seriously, I thought you were a Trae Young fan.
We need to have some phone calls. I think we just there's a disconnect there.
We got the super producer Joe Holt in the building. We got the pettiest man alive, Mr. P Kid, in the chat. We appreciate everybody in the chat for pulling up. We appreciate everybody from over on the Contender side for pulling up to the show, man. We'll be live for Bulls Live Call tonight. Shout out to all of y'all, man. I love this show so much, dog. Y'all stay safe.
I like it, but it wasn't like.